administration went nuts. You don't think that's what did it?
No, that was part of the story.
And the Fed stayed at zero for too long.
It did stay
That should take long. That shouldn't be cured yet.
Yeah, they were zero for too long. They carried on with.
We can cure that with 500 basis points. All that excess.
That's a lot. I mean, you got to go back to the Volcker.
That's why I sometimes think that the other side is right.
You know, the spread of opinion is wider than I've ever known.
That's
I've been
what
doing this for nearly 30 years, and I can't remember a time when there were people with passionately held viewpoints that were so far apart.
Jason Furman.
Right. Indeed, yeah, absolutely. But I think everybody would benefit from just taking a pause and waiting to see, because in the next 3 months, inflation isn't going to go from where it is to something disastrous.
It's trending lower.
If they need to do more, they can come back in years. But if it turns out they've already done enough, take the summer off, wait and see, and then come back in the fall.
All right. Ian, thanks.
When we come back, what's causing the latest slowdown at West Coast ports, and what does it mean for consumers, companies, and investors? The Port of LA's executive director will join us next. Stay tuned. You're watching Squawk Box, and this is CNBC.
Dropp det var en jävla idiot. Halla! Jeg får ikke sett på deg så mye siste siden vi har startet nesten litt med så som sammen. Det går bra! Halla! Jeg er short, jeg.
A bank that knows your business grows your business. BMO.
Jeg er short!
We're in the business of you.
We're here to help you plug in.
Connect and recharge.
Make an impression.
Gjør du det bra med, Lauro? Trener du mye Forex?
With 18 brands built for business,
your business gets even more rewarding.
With an award-winning loyalty program at 6,000
Dropp ned av din jævla pispe.
So, why should you like me? I'm a hard worker with a 5-year plan. I like whatever sports team you do, and I don't partake in funny business. All I want to do is make your daughter happy.
Ever wonder where the people with all the answers get all the ansers? Ask Mark, Accountants and Advisors. False or misleading search results can negatively impact a bad online reputation can put you at significant risk of losing job opportunities or new customers. Reputation Defender helps clean up your search results, wiping away negative first impressions, allowing truthful, positive content to rise to the top. Don't you deserve to have more control over how you're represented online?
Hæ?
Get your free reputation report card at
Vi må få på sånn der varmepumpa. Nei, men jeg er på Google her det. Vi må bestille et med det. For man har spesialisten.
Brian Sullivan hosts Last Call, weeknight 7 Eastern, CNBC.
Nå har kommet med at man finner sammen sist.
Wow, that's amazing.
Ja, jeg har ikke sånt i ræva i dag. Fy faen, i går hadde jeg vondt i ræva, ass. Det var helt sjukt. Jeg er short Prosecco. Jeg regner med at du skal kjøpe på dipper, mens jeg shorter på topper.
Could be lasting apparently until at least 9:15 Eastern Time. The FAA is saying there's a low probability that the ground stop will then be extended after that, so that could be good news. New York's LaGuardia Airport still operating under a delay of just under an hour. It looks like it's cleared up a bit this morning, though. I think if you talk to some of the folks in the weather world, they'll
Short
suggest there's a
euro,
possibility that things could actually get worse again here in New York later this afternoon.
Hvorfor er det short der, da?
Meantime, vessels are piling up outside of the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach in California, stemming from a worker slowdown issues amid contract disputes. This could start disrupting the nation's supply chain, very similar to what happened during the worst of the pandemic. Joining us right now is Gene Soroka. He is the executive director of the Port of Los Angeles. And Gene, what are we seeing right now? We know there's a slowdown. How severe is it?
Good morning, Becky, and thanks for having me on. What we saw is last Thursday, talks between the dock workers, the international longshoremen.
Jeg er så grådig hele tiden. Jeg må gå ut inne, for nå henger det seg igjen.
Mainly over wage. The next day, Friday, dock workers at the rank and file level voiced their displeasure by not going out on the job in normal capacity. And we began to see spot shortages of workers across the docks through the weekend. But both sides have gotten back to the table for bargaining yesterday, Tuesday, in San Francisco, working through these all-important issues. There are no ships at anchor today here in Los Angeles. We do have 51 vessels coming across the Pacific, pointed our way and to Long Beach, which is a little bit higher than we have normally seen over the past months. But with spot shortages of labor, cargo's not moving as smoothly or quickly as we would like. That's got to return to normal.
Union Pacific already issued a temporary pause for shipments from some of their inland terminals from some of the issues happening from this. So you are already starting to see ripple effects that kind of spread out from there. What's the worst case scenario?
That's right. And the UP recycled that advisory, so they're back in normal business. And it's interesting, Becky, because the amount of cargo that's designated for rail is about half of what it should be right now. And the aging rail cargo is down under 400 units. So I think we're in
Men
pretty
jeg
good
skjønner
shape
jeg enda
there.
ikke en
The
drit på
downside
nyheter.
to
Det
this
er
whole
helt
thing
umulig
is
for meg
if
også.
these
Nei, det kommer
discussions
etter
become
hvert.
protracted, the workers are not going out in full force, then we could have impacts. I don't see that happening right now.
De fleste gjør som Prosecco, de ser bare på De ser på den her.
For the collective agreement, but also realistically, I have not seen any significant moves in
Euro, de ser på den her,
how
synes
long
jeg.
containers are sitting, either waiting to go out by truck or rail. Yet there is pain being felt by the
Så ser de
two-thirds
rød.
of all
Oi,
of the cargo
det er
is
bevegelse i
in and
markedet.
out
Hold
by
meg unna.
truck, and we've got to get that service right.
What's the issue at the negotiating, at the bargaining table?
Så ser dere i går, da.
I think we're down to two pieces, and I don't speak for either the
I
employers
går.
or the dock
Nei,
workers, but it's
foregårs.
wage and robotics. And we've got to work through these important issues to make sure that the dock workers who are out on the job an average of 6 days a week during the surge are paid what they're worth. And with technology moving more rapidly than ever before, especially in the
Nei,
area of robotics,
ikke noe
that's what's
spesielt viktig.
coming, but we cannot leave the worker behind.
There has already been a letter that
Nå er jeg
the
minus
National
igjen.
Association of
Faen,
Manufacturers
ass.
has sent to the president asking him to intervene. Do you anticipate any action coming from the White House?
Yeah, and others have sent letters into. I saw Jay Timmons'
Er
letter
Trustwall
last
litt
night,
bedre?
National Retail Federation, Matt Shea, David French, and others. Here's what's been happening. Acting Labor Secretary
Hva
Julie
faen
Su has been
er
working with both
Hva?
sides individually
Rugga? Hva
and
faen betyr det for noe?
collectively, trying to keep these talks moving. Julie and her staff have been working tirelessly. They're not putting out press releases or coming on TV. They're talking both to keep this progress moving. And sometimes it's hit and miss. Sometimes we hit some brick walls. But really, from the Secretary of Labor's seat, this continues to be a top priority.
Kødd! Åssen faen går det an å stjele det? Er ikke det sånn kryptosafe, da?
What to anticipate, what comes
Hva
next? I mean,
faen?
problems like this, even if they get
Er ikke det hele poenget med det kryptogreiene at det skal være så jævla sikkert?
do have an impact on
Så mye kan jeg om teknisk om krypto, for å si det sånn.
where you have cargo winding up. I think
Hva
there's
i
been
helvete?
market losses. You all have seen market share losses to other ports over the last couple of years just because of the issues that you face there.
Oh, you're absolutely correct, and this is not breaking news either.
Åssen i alle dager kan man bare stjele fra walleten? Må man ha en kode, eller? Åssen gjør man det her?
Market share. Back in 2002, 80% of the Trans-Pacific trade moved over West Coast ports for containers.
Nå går jeg penger igjen. Og denne gangen skal jeg langt i penger.
For a variety of reasons, and right now, about 15% of our
Ja, men åssen klarte de å stjele det?
has moved to the east and Gulf.
Må kunne spore det.
And that's because importers and exporters were very concerned about possible job action here on the docks. And over 13 months of negotiations now, which is the longest I can remember, we've had about 3 bad days. So some have been super cautious, but realistically, the cargo keeps flowing. We've got to get these talks to a point where we can
Hold on, en
reach a tentative
dagshelvete.
agreement between both sides.
Gene, thank you. Gene Soroka.
Coming up, an in-depth look at the suddenly surging small caps. Stay tuned. You're watching the Squawk Box on CNBC.
Old school wisdom with a passion for what's possible.
Så de stjerte 400 000 fra kontoen din? Fy faen.
You get listening more than talking, and a personalized plan built on insights and innovative technology. You get grit, vision, and the creativity to guide you through a changing world. Old school grit, new world ideas. Morgan Stanley.
Kan man ikke forsikre seg om sånn heller? Er det ikke noen sånn garantier eller sånt nå? Sånn som på vanlig bank?
What do you see on the horizon? Uncertainty or opportunity? Whatever you see, at PGIM, we can help you rise to the challenges of today. When active investing and disciplined risk management are needed most. Drawing on deep expertise across the world's public and private markets in pursuit
Nei, jeg treder ikke NAS. NAS er ute og kjører.
PGIM. Our investments shape tomorrow, today.
This Father's Day, save big at Dick's Sporting Goods and Golf Galaxy. Save up to $200 on select golf clubs, earn 4 times the points on Paradigm Woods and Irons. Get Walter Hagen buy one, get one 50% off. Plus, save on golf balls. All from Dick's and Golf Galaxy.
CNBC. Live ambitiously.
Welcome to the closing bell. Let's get into the market right now.
Breaking news, market moves. Scott Wapner from the NYSE. Closing bell weekdays 3 Eastern, CNBC.
Do you have a box of videotapes?
Det der er helt sykt at du har blitt ranet for 400 000 på en fuckings konto. Det er jo helt drøyt.
Or the cloud. Legacy Box is simple and safe with over 1 million satisfied customers. Visit legacybox.com.
Cold Wallet er det mye ikke jeg forstår nå.
Mr. Wonderful, and I'm Chef Wonderful. What does ERC stand for, Chef Wonderful? The employee
Jeg vet jeg kan tjene inn pengene lettere, men jeg må starte med det. Ja, fitt det helvete. Den er kjip. Den var jævla kjip. Men det er verre å ha vondt i ræva som jeg har. Jeg har dritvondt i analen min, liksom. Hver gang jeg driter, så blør jeg. Det er verre enn å tape 400 000. Jeg har tapt 400 000. Jeg har tapt 1 million. Jeg har tapt 35 millioner. Og det verste er å være sår i ræva. Det er faen meg noe det verste jeg kan få. Og jeg er ikke homo engang.
Welcome back to Squawk Box this morning. For our last segment of the day, we want to focus on small cap stocks. The Russell 2000 far outpacing the Dow, S&P 500, and NASDAQ over just the past few trading sessions.
Ja, jeg vet det, men jeg tror han Morten kjøpte sinksalve til ræva med i går.
Carrie Hall, head of U.S. small and mid-cap strategy and senior U.S. equity strategist at BofA Global Research. So I guess the question is, what is going on?
Kan du ikke bare dette litt nå, da?
Jeg
går og venter på det store fallet. Det kommer jo faen ikke. De bare kommer sånn smårykk, liksom. Vi har unemployment rates som er i taket, vi har claiming i taket, vi har slowdown i økonomien, vi har asiaterne som er pissnegative, men nei da. Det faller jo faen ikke.
We turned tactically cautious on small caps in March after SVB, and we've been kind of watching the credit backdrop and banks and earnings. Small caps obviously do still have that much larger weight in the regional banks, where there is, risk of
3 banker av hver da. Nei da. Vi skal ikke ned.
You want to be selective in small caps. I do think longer term.
Vi skal ned når det er blod på gata. Da skal vi ned.
The valuation opportunity here is, really attractive, and the bounce off these lows from a positioning and sentiment perspective certainly makes sense to some extent, since we've seen investors have been, just huge sellers of small caps this year in the flows data. But you still have about a third of the index that's non-earners, so we would definitely be selective within small caps at this point.
So when you say selective, give us some ideas of how you'd be selective, and I think you're saying don't buy the index.
Well, I think, the Russell 2000, if you compare it to an index like the S&P 600, the S&P 600 is going to be a much higher quality small cap index, has much fewer, stocks with no earnings in it. I do think that, we've seen a rally within small caps this year in some of the lower quality stocks, parts of biotech and areas of tech that have lagged significantly, which you do tend to see those risk rallies like this, but they are still lower quality. So, we would favor some of the still higher quality parts of the index, areas that have high free cash flow. We do think this is a good year for stock picking rather than indexing. Our analysts at BofA cover about 1,000 small and mid cap U.S. stocks, so lots of opportunities. And I would say at a sector perspective, some of the cyclical areas, energy, materials, these have looked ranked relatively well in our work in both large and small caps. We do think, we're in a more sustainable CapEx cycle after companies hadn't been spending for a really long period of time. And you have a lot of drivers for that: reshoring, automation, ESG. So some of the more old economy sectors can actually benefit, and many of the domestic small caps are beneficiaries of that.
Okay, we're going to leave it there. Jill, thank you. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
I want to bring you an update right now. A lot of folks looking out into
Kom igjen, gå ned nå!
breathing the air this morning, trying to understand what is happening. We have also some news on flight delays all throughout the Northeast. The FAA adding a ground delay now.
Okay, fuck off. Nå skal vi se på de gutta. De er ganske morsomme, altså, de der livestock-gutta. De sier mye rart, men det er mye morsomt.
At 6 o'clock, when you woke up this morning, or maybe last night, when you're going over, hey, what am I going to watch tomorrow? I don't know if Carvana was at the top of your list, but it just broke that 19 down. So that's that $20 level on the daily chart. It came and went. Would be nice if it got there at the open, but starting to pull back in here. If it can't hang on to 19, I think it's going to go gap filling, and that 17 double top would be an interesting place for it to bounce. 17 to 17.50. Just kind of looking at the breakout price. So Carvana, that short interest does keep it.
Åh! Nå tjener jeg penger på shorten min!
Give up support. It hasn't done so just yet, but there's a big gap that can be filled here.
Men please prøv å ta kontakt med Trustwood når jeg ser veteranene.
What Raheem was talking about there is that you do have like the picks and shovels, right? So
Nei, jeg synes det er drittrist at du har tapt de pengene.
About EVs and AI and all this kind of stuff. If you're going to do EVs, you're going to have to get that, like he was talking about, tin, the copper, all that lithium, everything needs to be taken out of the ground, which kind of does suck. We build all these cars to save the environment and then destroy them and destroy the environment in doing so.
Ja, jeg tror det.
But unfortunately, that seems unfortunate.
Det er et jævla fuckings bullmarked, altså.
But I still think that the more we talk
Jeg tror vi er begynnelsen på korreksjon nå, på de tallene som kommer nå.
Keep going back to Tesla, and I know there's a lot of
Canada starter Brenten sånn helt ut av det blå.
I don't even know if I would get a Tesla if I chose an EV space right now.
Det som kan skje nå, da. Jeg kan si dere hva som kan skje nå. Det som kan skje nå, er at small cap-casene henter inn de store blue chipsene som har gått allerede, for å hente seg en. Og da kan du få en reprising av hele markedet. Jeg tror ikke folk er så tjukke i huet at de tror på det. Men hvis det skjer, så får du videre oppover. Det jeg tror skjer nå, er at blue chipsene, de klarte ikke bryte high-end, at de kommer ned igjen, og så håper jeg at small capsene faller videre. Det er det jeg tror. Jeg skal faen ikke longe Doe Prosecco. Den har du lært på. Jeg var med på alt du sa i går, men å longe Doe her, den står for deg selv. Den tør ikke jeg være på. Da er det større baller enn meg.
So we'll wait to see what happens with that, but I just think Tesla leads the way, and all this autonomous talk, all this EV talk, I think you just...
Then you got big hunters.
If you're uncertain, there are ETFs and things like that you can hop into, but for me, it's Uber and
du longer på 3-3
and it plays out the way we've been talking about it. They're going to be the winners. They may not be the biggest ones, but I think Uber and Tesla are very, very solid names to get into if you want to play the autonomous and the EV space all together. So buy both of them, check them in a couple of years.
Jeg har vært i penger her så mange ganger, men jeg er så grådig for jeg vil ha det ordentlige fallet, ikke sant? Jeg er i penger her hele tiden, men jeg tar den ikke. Jeg skal bare pisse.
Zscaler notable on the upside. Let's see Airbnb, Wynn, and Fisker. We'll touch on Fisker a little bit. Big week so far for FSR. The first segment of the show is always brought to you by Surge Trader, where traders can get a funded trading account up to $1 million. Keep 90% of the profits. Trade stocks, indices, forex, crypto, and more. Simple rules, no time limits. Bottom of the screen right now. TTV, the promo code, gets you 10% off. Use that QR code, bottom right corner there. Shout out to our friends over at Surge Trader. Let's check out futures here.
Yeah, let's get to the screen, guys. 75 level.
Let's check the future, guys. 42.75, the magic level on the ES. It's the level that we bottomed out with on June 6th. It's the level that we moved down to in the aftermarket yesterday, and it's a level that we're at right now. So if we can continue to hold 42.75, I'd be looking for a pinch back into 4,300. Otherwise, you're really only looking at 42.50, the next level of support below there, Brenda.
All right, let's get into everything else you need to know here heading towards the Open on a Thursday morning. Use that QR code now and go to watchlist.trader.tv. There's so many QR codes now.
Oi, fy faen, nå har jeg penga!
Watchlist.tradertv.live.
Nei, det ligger sånn greier der. På svarte pulten.
Free Amazon 1.5% here to the upside, helped obviously by this overall move in the market. We touched on it. Was it yesterday? I feel like it was yesterday. We touched on it with Netflix and the ad-supported tier. Still more positivity to come. It was $70 billion in possible ad revenue as a whole, TV ad revenue that they want to get a chunk of. Amazon Prime then coming out saying, "Hey, guess what? So are we."
Yeah, they want a piece of the pie, and why not? More revenue added. We heard yesterday that Netflix stands to add between 6 to 6.5 billion in added revenue per year on between the years of 2024 and 2025. Yes, Amazon Prime has much less of an offering of a video catalog than Netflix. I don't know about you, Brendo, but I have it for the delivery time.
There was also Warner Brothers and HBO and Paramount also coming out saying that they're going to do this as well. So get ready for ad-supported tiers right across the board here. 1.5%, though, as we mentioned, for Amazon back to the upside, trying to hold yesterday's low.
Something in the calendar.
Just talking to Raheem over here.
This man has the baddest cane in the business. I mean, that's the thing.
You guys don't see the cane. When
We're talking about like matching your cane with your watch, with your socks, with your belt. Like this man is single-handedly changing the game.
It's actually true. The cane does match the watch, which is. I was saying a few months ago that he's the most stylish person I know.
I might just fall off this stage, twist my ankle just to have a cane.
I wouldn't go that far. As you were saying a second ago, I'm just gonna out you a bit here. When you had your knee,
Fy faen, dagsen min!
1984.
Se på dagsen min, da!
The wood crutches.
Like the wood crutches that literally nobody uses anymore because they have a million other options.
Yeah!
Lighter, more durable, and more comfortable.
Oh no! When I went to see the surgeon,
Jeg gjør penger hver dag nå. Det faen kult.
Gangster, like you know. You have insurance that will cover new crutches, and they're nice fiberglass.
It's amazing what they have now. I'm just saying.
If I can go home and find these crutches, I'm gonna take a picture of them because honestly,
no, I hope you can find them because why would you still have those?
They were so gangster that like the part that you put your hands on, you know, I had to like wrap them with.
Tok du stopp Prosecco, eller er det noen fortsatt? Eller dobler du, eller hva gjør du?
Yes.
Oh, what are we? Okay, so Amazon.
I don't know. What are we supposed to do here? Amazon. You can buy crutches on Amazon, I'm sure.
You could. Okay, never mind. Or you could just.
I'm about saving the environment. I'm using the same crutches from 30 years ago, Neil. Why do you have to chop down trees to make new crutches?
They don't use wood
anymore. We're burning millions of hectares of.
Jeg har solgt 1/3 av PGS mine, så kjøper jeg en sendte ut nå at du kjøper en hedge mot portefølja, OBX Bear, mot hele portefølja. Jeg tror dette er starten på et tall.
The wife and I were sitting there thinking about like all the destruction.
There's more for, especially North America, to be sure.
Yeah, but like imagine you're a bird or something. It's like, you know, or any animal that lives in a forest. It's like.
All right, okay, we're going to get back on topic because we're supposed to be talking about Amazon. And okay, ad-supported tier. It obviously makes sense for them if there's any success, and to the extent that there's any success for Netflix, that you're going to see this start to come through to the ability, for their ability to do it. Now, Amazon had everything that the market did yesterday to the downside, ending on the lows, quadunking through 125. It just failed that top-end break. It's still a strong move. It's up almost 2% actually. I would have told you 119 is in play today, but now we're $4 away from it. So these consolidations off the gap ups have been pretty solid. I would have thought we had a chance to test underneath 120 to get us to that level. Now I just have to think about that previous floor at 125.5 on Amazon. And if we get up there, I do feel there was enough of a top pullback that there should be some selling in there. I also look at all the big tech at the close that had those huge buy imbalances that immediately paired off. I just feel like there's some
Skal vi se hvor hvis da begynner å falle nå, da faller det mye, liksom.
Back up to 125.5. We start getting into that territory. I think there's a fade to be had. Like there was some huge selling coming in at those prices. So if we can see a rally up to there, we're just closer to the 25-26 now than we are to 119. Not what I thought when I left the office last night that would be the case.
Yo, what's up to C. Morgan? C. Morgan a bit. I appreciate Shawnee. He is the man. Enough said. Okay, well, I appreciate you, C. Morgan a bit. Shawnee. What are you, my wife or my mother or something like that? What's up, Morgan? All right, so I wrote down. Yeah, well, there's nicknames about all that kind of crap. Everybody has nicknames, I guess, but I don't know if Shawnee's not. I don't. Anyways, okay. We'll move on to that. That just seems so like
600 som du sa.
I don't know. Like I'm 43, but
you're never too old.
Never too old. Nope. So I wrote down Amazon as a short here today because I didn't think that this news was that important. Ad-supported tier for Prime. I feel like that's like why is that not even existed yet? But again, we've seen Netflix talk about that, and that they actually make more money on their ad-supported tier members than they do their monthly members. So if Prime's going to do that, my whole thing about it is if you're going to
Endelig knekt koden for det helvetes greiene her. I 6 måneder nå har jeg drevet og så puka og styret og drevet og prøvd å forstå hvordan jeg skal klare marginene mine og trade og sånn. Endelig har jeg forstått det. Jeg har vært så gira til pipa. Det funker jo ikke med 200 ganger.
Mortis! It's rifled it up. Like we wrote this thing, we were 122. Now you're 123.50, and now I have to agree with. We had a monster with Neil. We had a monster short yesterday here off of this consolidation early, then the break. So we actually took this 126 short and had it. So we'll see if we can do that again today. Wait for it to sort of base out a little bit. Wouldn't be surprised if this bump is not held. And to be quite frank, I'm changing it now from 123 to 124. Because yesterday we had some consolidation there. We bumped up, we hit it, then we fell down to 120.50. Let's see if Amazon holds 124. My bet is it doesn't, but we're up 1.8%, which I was not expecting at all there for Amazon. So, hey, it's an upside move. Let's not get caught offside. Let's wait for some support to develop, or in this case, some resistance on the upside. Then we'll hit the short on Amazon. I still think there's some downside in this name. It should not be up 2% here, in my opinion. So downside coming for Amazon today. We haven't looked at Coinbase or anything, but we'll have a look at all these names. As Carvana took 19, right? So
it's still there, though.
Yeah, so it's still around 19. So watch out for that 1850 level that we talked about here. Which wow, it actually just bounced again off 1850. So that's twice now you've had that bump. Watch out for Carvana down here at 1850.
All right, let's go on to Lucid, as we were mentioning earlier. I mean, pretty weak, to say the least, yesterday with the overall NASDAQ trying to bounce here. I was kind of expecting this to be a little bit more. We're just back above 2-3 days ago support levels for Lucid. If you missed it again, they're going to sell imported cars in China, and they're also considering setting up shop as far as manufacturing as well. So, as we were saying,
Nå kommer det ned!
Full of competition in China.
Deilig, Jones! Botox en fin en.
It's a money-making opportunity here for Lucid. I see it more of as an overture from the Saudis to the Chinese. You know, the Saudis have been investing heavily in the West. We haven't heard too much in terms of investment in China. So I think this is just more symbolic than actual money-making, Brendan.
Everyone else is doing it. Why don't we do it too? Is there a trade here, guys, for Lucid today?
All right.
Is it bad that like there's Lucid news and we want to trade Tesla and Rivian? Oh my goodness, Randy, you're the man.
Fy faen så dags da. Motherfucker, da.
Is your thumb getting better or worse there?
Jeg er short herfra, da. Den grønne der er min short. Derfra.
I told you he's loving Ford.
Randy's saying Ford. This is the thing. Like, I know Lucid has the news today, and it's up to 3%. But as I was, it's in no man's land between 7 and 6.
Or so.
Don't want to trade it in.
Vi faen meg penger, da.
So,
Skal falle mye mer.
$7 probably. I don't know. You can probably go both directions here because the short off 7's been pretty decent. To say it was pretty decent yesterday would be an understatement.
Folk må bare ta det inn over seg at det skal ned.
2-week low 606 or 609. It's one of those two numbers. So 6 would be the obvious level on Lucid. We talked about this. You know, probably the Saudis making some good vibes, I suppose, with China, with the whole plant talk. Whether that happens down the line, who knows? I just, when we talk about the EV names, you already
Du bare dum, du.
But I mentioned Rivian.
Jeg kan skulle være artist,
The flat bottom brake on Rivian at 14. It took a while to roll over, and then eventually made that break to the downside. 1380, where it bounced. Coincidentally enough, it's probably not a coincidence, is the 50 period on the daily. So you've already had it break that little flat bottom on an uptrend. Can it hold on to the 50 period? 1380
Hvor har du fått proteinen fra?
For Rivian. That's when you're looking at a day trade off of like a 50 period average. It has to hold volume underneath for you to want to be short underneath that number. Simply breaking a level like that, like ticking to 79 on entry is a bit of a trap because you need to see sellers beneath there indicating that there's, there's people that are anchored to this or that are stopping out underneath that want to get out of the stock. Take some profit or maybe just cover or maybe get into short, whatever it might be.
Nei, skal på rommet ditt.
And there is a chance it can just simply bounce above and we can have a long off that 14 if it ends up holding the morning above 1380. So Rivian's probably more of a focus than me, for me than Lucid.
Yeah, I think Lucid can get 3 million shares. So we've talked about this. It's not a big move here for Lucid.
Dette smart money liquidation, det som du ser der. 100%
You know, new plant in China? No, I don't think that's going to happen. And then you want to enter into one of the most competitive markets in the world and not be able to produce cars and just I don't. For me, I think it's a nothing burger, but you're still up 3% and you want to trade price action. So I feel like that's the best thing to do. We can sit here and talk all we want about what our opinions are of these car companies. But, you know, yesterday, this is what the opinion of the market was. $7 all the way down to $6.40. The 52-week on this is, it's $9.15 right now, a couple stocks moving around. The 52-week low on Lucid, if I can even find it, I think it's 609. There it is right there. I just found it on the daily chart. That's the minute chart. So 609, we bounced off 638 yesterday. I still think it's to get back down into that $6 mark. But if we're going to talk about yesterday's levels, I don't know. If this is going to be a story, to me, you got to take out this. So you got to get back up to 7. I still think it's a fade around there. So for me, I'm short Lucid. If we get up to that $7 mark, I just don't think it's really much of a story there. Fisker's had a big move and then followed by not much. So this is another one of those names where a big move off that bottom of $4, up to 7 again. Like this is to me plays. Like you just feel so super depressed that no one likes it anymore. Then you can get sort of a relief rally on any kind of good news, right? And so again, like it's just Tesla's eating all these guys' lunches, and I mean Fisker's talked about now opening up reservations and filling them for the Ocean and being into delivery into the fall for some of these cars. So I think once that starts happening, they're actually out on the road, then you could get a bump that didn't necessarily work at all for Rivian. But again, look, now down 3.5%. What is Rivian? You looked at Rivian. What was it down today?
Fy faen, nå kommer vi ned der.
Fisker's
Hold on, check-in.
Okay, so Rivian's flat. So
Alle har prøvd ringer, skjønner du, for nå skjer det ting. Nå landet seg kontrakt med Oslo Lunsj. Og dine aksjer står jo faen ikke på deg noen steder. De står bare i selskapet. Så da må vi sende en mail fra Restfjord etterpå, så du må godkjenne på Altinn. Og så kan vi bevege litt på det. Ja. Ellers så, hvorfor telefonen nå? Du kan alt være på.
So we have some reference of where we
like
Tesla. The 200 period, although it's not going to be right on this one, so I'm not even going to look at it. The 50 period is 190 down there. Nice loop up here. So we'll take this into consideration for Tesla down here at 220. So that's a better trade for me. That's what we're loaded up to do. Is AMD on there? No, AMD to me is a better trade.
Nei, du får mail eller SMS senere i dag, så gjør det dagen.
20 mark for AMD. This is a short that I really like. We bumped up there
da er vi good, da trykker jeg på
into
det.
the 200 period before tanking into the close.
Men ta kjapp på det, hvor på det.
So I like that
Jeg
trade
hører
there,
deg dårlig.
120 short. We get anywhere near there on AMD. That's going to be my number one trade to look for here this morning.
All right, let's go on to GameStop here, grinding its way back to pre-market lows, down 22.8% right now, $20. I mean, if that doesn't hold.
Fy faen, den der traden her var fin, folkens. Folkens! Den var fin!
They report a loss.
Den der, folkens!
Fifth CEO exit in 5 years.
I know. He did his best. Matt Furlong, he actually reduced expenses, but the net loss continued to grow. I mean, what is the pitch here? What is the business model? Are they going to go to the cloud, or are we just going to remain retail? So, Ryan Cohen, the executive chair now. Let's see what kind of changes.
Prosecco, tar du gevinst på den siste, eller?
Right now, guys, for GME.
I guess like the bulk for GME today would I suppose be you're at that $20 level now. You're already down 23%. You still have some short interest. So if it doesn't break 20 at the open, or I suppose if it does the old under over, like it breaks 20 even, doesn't get through that post-market low, it's like 1980 something, and then makes a rally past 20, you could get some short covering, kind of like what Coinbase was doing. But the difference between those bounces and what's happening right now in GameStop is usually when that's going to happen, you're already bouncing off that level in the pre-market. Like a lot of times when that's the case, you've made the move down and into the open, it's starting to bounce or show you signs of strength. Coinbase was at that time, like it showed you that it was coming back up. All the big flush had already happened. So this is not the case. It's still gliding to the downside. The open's going to be the tell here. Outside of 20, I don't think there's a level to look at. I sat down thinking if it was a pop into 22.5, 23, I like the short. At this point, it's just going to be about the 20 level at the open.
For det bra gevinster nå, Prosecco, på den ene her. Den du kjøpte der.
Where it can recover and then turn into like a breakout squeeze play. But for now, I want to be thinking about the short side of GameStop. And quite frankly, Carvana as a trade is looking a little bit more appealing if you're looking for some kind of...
Faen, nå trenger du deg på å svare telefonen din.
Yeah, I think it's just respected this VWAP all the way down here on GameStop.
Du må legge deg tidlig, liksom.
About, fourth straight quarter of revenue decline. I mean,
ja, men den der så den er sendt ut, eller?
I talked about it yesterday. I was kind of like...
Du må registreres I porteføljen.
Sort of not poking fun at them, but like no one's talking about them anymore. And these guys are going to be selling collectibles and NFTs and all that kind of stuff in their marketplace. I just doesn't seem like it's very hard to enter this business, and the barriers to entry here for GameStop. I mean, they're trying, and like they said, gone through many different management changes. You have basically filled this gap all the way back down into 1850. I feel like that's going to be a level. If you're going to try to play the long, right down there on the daily chart goes all the way back to late April. Try to see if there's a bounce off there. Obviously, we've done it before. We'll see if we can do it again. Some of that wick to 29. I mean, that's in the we were actually watching it live yesterday.
Masse risky, synes jeg også.
I guess on the Ryan Cohen news, we'll see if the meme master himself can somehow rally this name, but no one's even talking about memes anymore. You're trading off, like we just saw, Carvana actually releasing good news, right? And so I don't think that little rallies of, chicken tendies and all that kind of stuff is going to rally anything. Little apes going to the moon and diamonds bigger than your head and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I tweeted out, me and my boy we were like in front of GameStop, be like, yeah, GameStop, but like now no one's about that, and that was what was rallying the stock. So now if you're going to actually look at fundamentals, is there anything there for GameStop? Well, I think there could be. I think they could merge with somebody at some point I don't know if that's going to create shareholder value, though, if they do that. Probably at lower prices or some kind of a deal. They do have retail locations out there, so I could see something happening in that space. I mean, I don't know who that would be. I don't know if it would be an Amazon. You talked about selling collectibles and things like that, but that's not really in Amazon's forefront to like merge with another company like this. But and plus the retail spots that they have are really small, right? They're just little small nooks and stuff.
Enig, Prosecco. Det jævla risky før åpning.
The business model, I can't, like Sharif said, what's the path here? I'm not sure, but I know one path is UiPath. Has been doing pretty good lately as well. So we'll look at some of that. I mean, maybe GameStop, maybe they did. Talk a little bit about AI. I don't know, but I'm nervous for this stock. We'll see about 1850. And what I was going to say about VWAP, look at it. It's been pretty good all morning, where we've been respecting it. This dotted line is the 21.
Den for god. Derfor så spiser han ikke.
So right now VWAP sitting at 2050. So I'd say you'd go
short in
2050. If it breaks it, you get out.
Om jeg kutter? Ja. Jeg har gått ned 4 kilo.
Remember, it's going to be SSR, so you're not going to be able to short this thing right off the open. You're going to have to wait for a tick high.
Det var bare 102 nå.
All right, let's go on to CBNA if you're just joining or.
Ja, men det er fordi du er høy, så det er liksom, det er ikke så mye på deg. Jeg er lavere enn deg, vet du. Jeg er lavere enn deg, så jeg syns mye mer på meg enn på deg.
Sean was mentioning there's 6,000 for the quarter per unit, which seems really high. You and I were just talking about that. It's impressive, to say the least, if they can actually do that.
Used car business, as opposed to selling new, is that
Prosecco!
you're not restricted by the MSRP given to you by the manufacturer.
Ja.
You can sell the used car at whatever profit you want. So their hands are a little bit less tied. But anyway, price action wise, let's go to the chart.
Alt fra, du begynner sikkert på 300-400 000 i lønn. Det er dritbra betalt.
Here with an 1850 bottom.
Jo, du begynner nede først.
Right now, looking pretty good.
Depends on who you ask, but still 21,
Hæ?
22, 25% short side as well for CBNA.
Jo, men du er jo faen meg, du er jo bare 18 år.
What was it? 59%?
I thought it was 58.
Let me just
58. It's 58.
Let me just go to. I'm just gonna go to Flow Checker here and check out Carvana.
Go to that because I don't think that 20 number is accurate.
Oh, I have to do the thing where I have to refresh the page.
no.
Goodness. See, I don't know.
Well, we have it at 57 on Trade Ideas,
which is
we'll,
a big
we'll
number.
let Flow Checker load up for you. If you come over here, I can call it up. I mean, there it is again, bouncing off 1850 a couple times. So we'll
Oi, oi, oi.
for that
Se
level.
på min deilige dagsshort.
EBITDA of $50 million for Q2.
Ja.
Let's just see that number. Let's see what's under the hood here.
Ja.
They don't report until August 3rd now, so they're just kind of getting ahead of that number.
Hvor
which
mye?
is a ways away. So
Ja, det er mye.
$6,000 per unit
Det er mye.
number seems pretty good, up 20+%. Obviously, with that number being in the 50s again for the shortable amount, that's huge, right? 50, 60%. That's what's sparking this. People that have their bets on the short have
Det er sånn ut nord-sor.
Let's see what happens off open right now for Carvana. I wrote down
Snart til null, men hadde du kjøpt noe her nede, jo?
You know, that already happened.
Kjøpte du ikke der nede, Prosecco?
So right now, I'd say you're probably going to look shorting around 20 with that wick high on good volume. So whenever you make these wick highs, and of course this is going to be at, this is kind of right when it started going there. It's 821. So I don't think there is a dark pool dump there. But again, on the high of the day is when you get the most volume on the buy, right? So someone busted that through 20. Now they're trying to
Nå skjer det som skjedde i går. Nasdaq kommer ned, Dow Jones går opp. Veldig rart, ass. Legg merke til det.
Still bouncing off 1850 right now. Looks good. Liquidity getting a little sparse right now as the spread can open up here as we get close to the open. And then Neil's going to talk about the in float in a minute. Let's just look to see what's on here. We don't know. TDOC is one big order. We sort of talked, Neil and I were mentioning that. We'll look at that in a minute, though. Palantir there as a sell, continuing off of what was a disastrous day yesterday, hitting 17, then down to 1450 at close. I don't even see Carvana on here. I mean, it's here, but 90,000 into 7.5 million, not much. So right now, Ford's on there, and really no NASDAQ names at all. We saw some big NASDAQ names at the close yesterday. Nothing following through here off the open. So imbalances, there's game.
Jeg skjønner ikke hvorfor Dow Jones går opp i det hele tatt, så jeg tror den skal ned. Men jeg har i hvert fall short til helvete på Dachsen her. Den her skjønner jeg ikke hvorfor går opp i det hele tatt.
50, 50, 57, 69. So just a little bit on the higher side in the short interest. To me, that's the case. I don't.
Selv om jeg ser støtteområdene, men jeg forstår ikke hvorfor folk skal kjøpe den.
Someone tell me what adjusted gross profit means for Carvana, because you know, again, fundamentally, this is probably not about the fundamentals anyway. So that short interest is what's going to be driving it to the upside to the extent that it goes up today. That $20 level on the daily, that's where I thought the 17 break was going to from a technical standpoint, but you're not going to get the 17 break because it's already happened. I am looking first off that 20 level for a potential short trade. If it does the old break 20 at the open and then quadunk it, I'd go for the short. I do not want to be long that breakout. I'd rather take it. If it holds above that break price, I think it's probably going to make a bigger move. So, you know, 20 for me is going to be an early short trade. I think we're going to go to Netflix and then come back.
On the ad-supported tier for Amazon Prime, we were talking about the same thing for Netflix going back a couple days ago. $70 billion in potential ad revenue as far as what is available for all of these now to kind of sink their teeth into. So more upside according to analysts over the past couple of days with positive notes for not only Netflix, but here's Amazon today as well.
Yeah, it's funny how we get the number from Netflix with
Se,
respect
den kommer ned, den kommer opp. Kan dere se det nå? Den opp, den ned. Det har skjedd siste dagene nå, og jeg skjønner ikke hvorfor. Det har skiftet, tror jeg. Den ned, den opp.
Yeah, Netflix held up better than the overall market. I was just, anyone who has a flight plan today to Newark, you're not going. They just paused flights in and out of Newark again.
Jeg tror folk kaster pengene sine ut fra Nasdaq og inn i Dowen for å gå ut fra de... Midt nå nesten 500.
Shout out to everyone over at Trade Ideas. Remember, $11.11 gets you 2 weeks right now. Everything included, live, real-time data as well. Trader TV 20, bottom right corner, gets you 20% off also.
And as far as Netflix goes, I like $3.95. I mean, if we can get any kind of even if it bounces off that level, you know, if it breaks that one to the downside, I think it's got a lot of room to go. If there is a pop, 408 to 410 is sort of the zone for me to short. Someone just put in the chat there. NIO, I knew I forgot something when we were talking about the EV names because NIO gapped above $8. Okay, so it broke $8 in the pre-market. I don't know. You can gap above $8. You're not really holding it either. And so the $8 short has been a good one. The breakout, I don't think I want to look breakout at 8 now that it's failed the pre-market. I think 8.05 probably sets up a little bit better. So NIO still available for that $8 break. I just think it's got to be something like an 05. And the short in front probably comes in there pretty quick. We got 40 seconds to go till the open. One other name out there, and thank you very much for pointing that one out in the chat. I totally forgot about it.
Se, Dowen hadde traff den nå, Prosecco, da.
Everything, Palantir, all those other names that were high flying. It went up on the Amazon news. It came right back down on the Amazon news, bouncing off 16 even. Broke from 16, settled at 16. 16 is the price to watch today.
Only 10 seconds.
For goodness sake, I'm going to get the countdown on right now. If it can't hold 16, I think a firm does a bit of a quadruple, but that could get tested right away at the open. So watch this Carvana. GME already at $20.
Here we go.
Prad's on the bell in
It's
3,
Prad, it's Prad, it's
2,
Prad. That's Prad.
and bring it.
If anyone was wondering who Prad is,
that's
Prad. If anyone wondering who Prad is, that is Prad. So shout out to Prad. Again, shout out to my wife who's in the chat who also just said that the kids right now are just being ushered inside. There's like no outside play at all today.
They canceled,
Yeah, due to all that fun stuff happening in the world with the fires.
Not that fun.
No, I just hope that can get resolved, man.
Hopefully.
That's
Get some rain, man. We need
that's
some
a
rain.
nightmare for sure.
Nå kommer den opp, Nasdaq, og så kommer Dow ned. Merkelig greier, ass.
In the forest and whatnot, but okay.
GameStop bouncing.
Yeah, GameStop bouncing. AMD up here. AMD ripping right now to the upside. We've seen this happen in the market many times before, where it starts to get going early, and then we wait, and we wait for this move to the upside. I'm still sitting at 119.80 right now on AMD, and again, just looking for this short against 120. We talked about that yesterday, right into there, that 120 level. So let's see if we can get to that. We maybe will take a fill at 119.50 right now. Just again, not getting too early on this play. Oh, there it is. If it doesn't break down, all right. Let's take a fill now, just for very light. If we can get that, we should probably try it right there on AMD. What else is moving around? Nasdaq up, down, and kind of just flat right now. So that's all that I'm looking at.
Kan dere svare meg? Ser dere at Nasdaq går opp nå, så går Dow ned? Stikk motsatt.
Honestly, man, we're waiting for that 120.
Jeg har sagt det hver dag nå. Nasdaq opp, Dow rett ned. Dow opp, Nasdaq rett ned.
Look at the market. 20 as the market's going up again. So 21.50. We just saw 21.40 on GameStop. It's getting into that zone where you look for a rally off 20 when it holds, but I still think there's going to be a fade in here. So it's getting pretty close to that 22. Carvana's starting to bounce. Neo's making its turn up to $8 as well.
Det er ingen som kommenterer det, bare jeg som ser det. Nå kommer Nasdaq litt ned, da kommer Dow opp.
The other one we're watching at the open. No movement really on Amazon. Thought maybe it would push up and give us that short opportunity. I don't
Det er bare jeg som ser det.
But Amazon not doing much of anything.
There we go. Bang right there. How about AMD? How you like that right now? $1.20 in the money on AMD off that one. This is the trade of the damn day already for me here. We talked about being patient, wait for that move to the upside. We wrote down 120, came to 119. We liked it. Here's the pushback down for advanced. It's a number one name here.
Kom igjen, Dagsmin. Falt til helvete nå.
In the money off the open. Let's go right here. We're trying to get something out, though. We're bidding 40s. That was the bottom there. Let's see if we can crack just a little bit more right now. Okay, all right. Let's bid something in the 50s. Boom, right there. Spin the money to start off the day early right now with some big boy trades. And also, we are now short on Amazon. Shit, Sean, use a little more shares next time. But there it is, nice little downside move. Let's get it out, get some out of the 90s, get some more out right here in the 90s again on Amazon right now. So back-to-back jacks here. Let's see if we can't have this continuation now to the downside. Look at that cover, 117.50 on AMD. Let's see if we get lower. Yesterday's close, 117 flat, putting a bid there now.
Oh my goodness, 15 on Palantir right now. Pop and fade, 15 Palantir. Also, GME just made a pullback off of that high. I just got the short off of that. We said we short a pop on that. Oh, no, I got Palantir. I did not get filled on GameStop. Oh yeah, GameStop's SSR.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, of course. So I actually need an uptick to get the fill on GameStop. It is what it is. You know, with SSR, you're going to have to get filled the other way. So here's that 15 level on Palantir. Just got GameStop as well. I want to look for a curl here, but it's starting to show a little bit of strength here in PLTR. NEO, not much happening in NIO. And Carvana is actually not moving, oddly enough. Carvana is still at 1870. That's a little bit surprising.
All right. Yeah, that is surprising. We talked about Carvana. Okay, so there it is. I'm just trying to take a little bit out. It just broke back above 118 there, so we took some more out. But I think we want to stay on these shorts and then just make sure that they're still printing. And they are printing right now, but the problem is the NASDAQ is still relatively high. So I still feel like we do have a dramatic, oh, shit. Here goes Amazon right now to the downside. So we get another one from DJ Colin early on AMD. But there's another one coming, and that's Amazon right now. If you want to talk about this, this is the one thing that I'm doing so much better. Check sticky note notes. Amazon short, AMD short, ding, ding. And right now, there it is right here. We are really done well here on this. By the way, AMD, remember we told you we put a 117 fill? What's up, Brendo?
Suggesting the SEC has filed a motion to freeze Binance assets. So again, the SEC looking to freeze some of Binance assets. So just keeping an eye on BTC.
Remember, like the commingling of funds was something said for Binance. It was not for Coinbase. Right? The very big difference between what they're doing with Binance and Coinbase. Obviously we can't trade Binance, so let's get that one out of the way. I'm going to try and ring the register here on the first out of Palantir. So it does the over-under thing at that 15 level. There's the pop. Here's the fade. Now, can it follow through? It's already come down and given a fill of 90, looking 80s, 70s, 60s, all that good stuff in there. Into Amazon, because...
Oh, yeah.
Amazon, it didn't break the high. Okay, I liked 125 on Amazon. It's maybe not far enough there on Amazon. Oh, Palantir got that first level.
Amazon's tricky.
There's a wick out there on Palantir. Yeah, Palantir's starting to go. I was able to get 1480. This is where you got to wait and be more patient for it. I got the first move in. It was able to come back and pull back 20 cents. Now it wants to break back out. After this level, you're probably looking at 15.50 and 16 bucks. So if it's not going to curl there, those are the next two levels to the upside. GameStop's holding for. Carvana's now starting to break down a little bit. So 17 to 17 and a half, it broke out from 17. That is a level that I think you could find an obvious bid, but it's just falling to the downside now. So I am in GameStop still. That one's starting to settle down. You needed to wait for an uptick. Why didn't I get the short? Because I was hitting the bid and not hitting the bid.
Jeg kan vente på gymmen om halvtime, eller?
You just got to be able to wait for an uptick. That's why it was really tricky to get the other side of this trade on GameStop, which is coming to the downside. Tesla, not a heck of a lot happening over there. Tesla's barcoding off 225, although now catching on Tesla. If that gets up to 230,
Nei, 20 minutter da. Dra om 20 minutter.
High is a reasonable place for the short.
All right, so we're still going to...
Nei, jeg bare går ned på null stress. Eller, nei, jo, jeg ringer deg på kortet, så sjekker jeg ferdig.
On Amazon against 124. We wrote down 123 for the short on Amazon, but the Amazon news has sort of changed the game a little bit for the stock. Obviously, that Prime subscription tier, we talked about that. We were trying to wait out for this 124, maybe 124.50 in order to be severely wrong on that one. It's too bad. Well, it's not too bad. I mean, we absolutely destroyed Amazon, AMD. as we got pretty sweet fill down there, 117 flat. We are almost out. 20, 40, 60, 80. 20% left on this one. And then we're going to watch out for Amazon up there, up against that 124.50. So I'm going to try to get more short if we can get back up into, like I just said up there, 124. We'll try that against that 124.50. But for right now, it's kind of doing its own thing. Shopify was a big mover yesterday. We can have a quick look at that again as it's bouncing around here again. Oh, trying to get this through $60. Apple is a big one. There's the move for Shopify. So we're looking for short. They're off of $60. So that's the key there. Like, look at this, barcoded at 60, all pre-market before falling down pretty dramatically there off the open. $2 straight to the downside on Shopify. Brendo's got something?
Earnings mover, guys. DBI, designer brands, to the upside to the tune of about 15% so far today. Just broke 8 on a huge volume alert there. So DBI beating expectations.
So we're flat on Palantir because we got some profit. I just got it at GameStop. It takes a couple of seconds, I guess, to update the position board. But we shorted it on the curl. We gave it to the high of the day. We get out when our stop triggers. Going to be pretty binary. If it makes a continued push to the upside, I don't want to be long the stock. I understand it can absolutely squeeze, but everything about this just says there is going to be some selling come into it. And at that point, whether it's at 22, I doubt it. Maybe that 23 level, maybe that 23 level comes into play. Rivian is still holding fort. I mean, I'm watching Amazon. It's still not quite where I want it short, but Rivian's underneath that 14 level. It did try to break. You got up to 1403. It's back on and underneath that. 1380 is the 50 period. Wanted this to settle down at the open, and looks like it is trying to settle. So I'm going to try and get some shorts into that 14 level. As far as Netflix goes, that was another one that was possibly setting up. Yeah, it did punch down 395. Didn't quite get there. It got to 396. So good bounce on Netflix. If you happen to be sitting out in front of that 95 level by $1.50, $2, I think you pick this one up. But it's going to have to come back down and pick me in.
What else do you guys want to look at? I mean, it's still very, very early. We can look at lots of stuff here. Yeah, I think you're right there. Stink hands there. That AMD is doing its normal dance here off the open, which is why we took it pretty light at 119. We were waiting for 120, but then when it came in, it was hell to pay there on the downside for AMD. So I still think that everything's going to be coming in right now. I don't even want to touch this Amazon trade. I mean, we will put something at O's here just because, and then let's leave it alone. Amazon, I still think that we got a good fill up there. We're waiting for that 124. We'll take a little bit more if it comes up there. But for right now, we're pretty short Amazon, and we're liking the way this one's looking out for sure. Let's check out Disney, man. Go woke, go broke. Let's see if people are going broke on Disney today. 92 and change. We've been looking at this one off the 90 bottom. But yeah, okay. So this is starting to move down. This is actually looking pretty good. What's up with this today on Disney? Like, I never see anything like that. All right, so still not, like 92.70? Is there just like a crazy seller there? This could be something to watch out for. Let's see if Disney comes back to 92.70 because I haven't seen anything like that in a long time on any stock.
Fy faen, jeg har Shortman helt der oppe fra.
Now Disney's coming to the downside. Let's watch out for this 91.90 or so down there for that bottom on Disney. As Amazon, I guess, not going down. And again, this is not something that we're going to get completely railroaded on. We do have our 124.50 if we're going to be wrong on this. 124.50.
Tok gevinst nå.
Go down to 220, did it?
It did not. That's the
Sitter litt short her ennå, men jeg tok gevinst på den lange her oppe.
Kind of missed out on Netflix by $1, which is frustrating because it did do that move. But Tesla now starting to get up, like 227. I know because I just got into Rivian, so sometimes it drags into the upside. But we're underneath 14 still on Rivian, so that's pretty solid. 230 on Tesla was the high-ish yesterday. The longs into that were, they were good until it got to that price. That's the way to think about it. So you got to wait for a couple of dollars before you get into any resistance. I see a pole up there, but I don't really have time.
It's just red or green or flat. It's
yeah, okay. NVIDIA, another chip name up here. This is starting to break out a bit. This was one of the weakest names in the market. You can see it actually close on those lows. Bit of a relief rally happening. 385 to 386, I think, is resistance. I'm still looking to short some of these pops. I just don't want to rush into it. The NASDAQ is starting to rip here. And the dip buy that I wanted, which was Netflix, did not come into play. I was not able to grab it. Affirm as well, 16, never really bounced off 16, held 1650, gliding to the upside. This has to go a ways before I think about fading this one. This is a squeezable name, 5% up today, but $2.50 away from its high yesterday. got to be patient with that short.
Right. Yeah, we're trying to be a little patient here too.
Amazon's
but yeah, Amazon's getting real close, man. We were just at 96 there. As if we didn't get any fills there at 96. Okay, we'll wait for it'll probably come through now. All right, I'm just going to put a fill at 93 then. Because
Perfekt den shorten på Dagsen da. Shorter på nytt nå, den er dekka her nede.
Remember on this one, so we've just been averaging into the short. We like the short there, but again, I guess this prime news is getting taken a little better than we thought it would, as of now it's up 2.29%. Watching out for this little 124.50. Unfortunately, if we take that, I think we got to get out because the next level is 126, and then we just got to just take the L on this and understand that that's just what happened to us on Amazon. So 124.50, we're going to give that a go again on AMZN. Not again, but we're already in it. So 124.50 is going to be the line in the sand for me on that one. It looks like it's going to be a disaster if we get up to there, but that's what we have to do. And then AMD making the move.
Tagevinst nå ute.
This is kind of what we want. Up to 120 here for AMD.
Fortsatt short Dagsen med de hadde fra stad.
Be very, very careful with what we're doing. Trying to go short into all these names may not work right now as the market continues to make a move up. What's up, Brendo?
Much of a reaction to this, but Bernstein analyst guys just out with a note suggesting GM could be a potential suitor for this one, Lyft.
I thought we had that report before. Anyways, okay.
Whether we did or not, good move on Lyft. Uber, by the way, got very close to $40. I'm just in Rivian right now. I'm going to look to add if it starts to fail 14, but Alibaba is on a tear. It's up 1%, but there hasn't even been a red candle on the 3-minute just yet. Remember, it rejected 87.
Shorter på nytt nå, den nettopp dekka meg.
So if it continues parabolic into 87, I think that's where the fade is. I'm going to look at Netflix and tell you that it's still breaking out above that 400. It's not really clearing anywhere near the 410. Amazon, it didn't quite get to 125 there. It just did a wick top at 124. I do want to pop and fade into this name. I still believe that I'm unresolved that this is automatically a long day after yesterday. So while I'm in just Rivian now, you just did a bit of a pop above 124. If you retest that high and don't make a new one, I can see the sell side being right here. I really thought Carvana would be something, but now it's turning into very similar to what Coinbase was, which is a bit of a distraction. I might move that level 2 to something else because it's still at $18.70. Every time I look over, it's like between $18 and $19, which is not a fly zone.
There was a big bump down to 18 flat there, I think, off open, right, on Carvana?
Yeah, there was one move underneath, and now it's just holding in the dollar range that I don't want to be trading it. So you want to be trading, to me, I wanted to be trading around $20 or around $19 or around $17. So here comes a bit of a fail in Amazon. This is me trying to grab that bit of a curl here. If we hold this level, VWAP 22s, if we break back out, sit it out until we get to 125. But waited for this move to come in here and now taking it. Rivian, that last pop-up didn't get to 14. My entry got some in the 80s, and then I got back in, and then I got some more in here at 94. I just want to be net short in the 1380 to 14 range. And if 1380 breaks, that's a 50 daily, and I'm not worried about taking the level break. I'm already short into that level break here on Rivian.
All right.
Da må jeg stikke.
We just got a nice little dump down.
Det var jævla fin. Jeg sitter fortsatt short alt her. Jeg vet at ikke jeg kan dra midt i en trade, da taper jeg penger, men jeg har ikke noe valg. Jeg må møte en fyr nå. Det blir bare sittende rolig. Jeg er short alt til helvete, og Dagsen og hele pakka.
So now we have to see what the market does. And again, we're looking at 14,400. We just bounced off that rate.
Jeg må bare tro på meg selv at dette skal til helvete.
On the market, at least I am anyways, at 14,400. This is a little bit of a longer time frame here on the NASDAQ. So 14.4, we bounced off there a couple of times, including this morning as well, and yesterday. So let's just see what happens with 14.400. Nice move down. The real bounce spot is 14.300, which we did already today. So let's see if that can hold. We talked about that in the pre-market. It was a shout out to Bob, I think, or somebody there in the pre-market that
Bob W.
Yeah, Bob Dub that brought that up to us right now. But Brendan's got something.
Mobileye, guys, just popping up on a relative volume scanner. Here's why. Intel pricing that $1.6 billion stake sale that we spoke about a couple of days ago. So down 6.4% here for MBLY.
No, it's hilarious because yesterday I had a conversation with Sharif about don't turn long-term trades. You don't turn swing trades into long-term.
I thought you liked mobile long-term.
And you don't turn long-term trades into swing trades. I was like, man, I got that dip buy and I could have taken a quick 30% on it. But I'm like, no, I wanted to have a long-term investment in the stock. So I did not do that. And look, I think
Fy faen, og detter videre.
went up to $45, $46. It's like I could have swung out of it. But it's actually at the 50 period looking pretty good. Amazon's starting to come back in. Rivian just broke the low of the day. Those are the two that I'm in. Rivian broke that low. I did take something when it took out that low of the day, and I'm going to be scalping it down. I think, if you hold beneath 1380, I start thinking about numbers like $13.50, $12 on a longer time frame, but that's the daily break. It has to still hold underneath here. That's the structure we want. The market's starting to roll over pretty nicely here as well.
Yeah, I don't want to ring the registers yet, but we are taking some out of Amazon, of AMD. We did take a little bit out of Amazon. I mean, here comes AMD right back down. Unfortunately, we didn't get as many shares as we wanted to up there. Still a chance to do that, of course, as the market just fading off that 14,400. So we're just going to start to cover again. Like we're covering lower than where we bought these shares. Obviously, nicely in the money now for everything. There goes Amazon. Let's go Amazon. Let's get into the 30s now, where we have a couple bids, just to make sure. No, we have one out in the 20s right now. Okay, that just stopped at 40. Let's put something here. Again, I'm not trying to take crazy quick decisions here. I want this to work. Like, I feel that if this market fades out, we had a disastrous day yesterday. We had a monster short in Amazon yesterday, man. We let it build out, and then it just tanked the rest of the day. So we let this sort of build, and then this happened. So right now, I'm kind of, and again, I have too many outs. Like, we took $1 or not, something like that on Amazon, and I was like, yeah, $1. But like, maybe we can get more than this on this today. We're already 40, 50 cents in the money here on AMD, as that's having a little bit of a problem here. We do have 1850, so let's put some more bids here in the 80s, and then even lower than that if we can get it. But for right now, yeah, the market doesn't seem to be going too crazy to the downside. Brendan with another one.
Here, guys, GE Healthcare, GEHC, a recent one we've been discussing as well. Just seen coming across, they're priced a secondary offering this morning. So GE Healthcare down big time. This one, Fuel Cell, wider Q2 loss reported for F-Cell, but nice move back to the upside here. Double bottom there around 225, 230, right back up.
They reported F-Cell? Okay. Good look there. By the way, Uber is very close to the $40 level. That's a big one. But also now, look at this at 17. This, in a firm, I thought it was like a wait for the short situation. But this is multiple wicks above 17 with a rejection. Yeah, exactly. Amazon needs to get down.
Get down!
But a firm at that 17 level, if it breaks the top, fair enough. I'll respect it. But I almost need to be short this in this range. Risk reward is just going to favor it. As Sean was just mentioning, Amazon is starting to come back in. You just saw 123.5, which it happens to be VWAP, but I don't know that that matters this early. If it continues to the downside, you got to look at this 122.5 that wick down into the open. So a firm, I guess, another short here. Don't really have any longs in this market currently, but if you're looking for something strong, I was just mentioning Uber is very close to a 40 breakout, so a bit of a bull flag there on Uber. This had a huge gap to be filled from yesterday. So it could be back in that 40-70 range as well. But the short's starting to pay off here. Rivian, Amazon, a firm for me to the south side.
Oh, man. I was just relief. Because honestly, man, like we make all these calls and sometimes we don't sit there and we get out a little bit too early. But look what the hell we're doing on Amazon right now. This is just one of these kind of trades, man. And we're happy because it was right off of the sticky note. Both these trades, again, today, again, off the sticky. Let's go, Amazon. I was just bidding 04s there. We just stopped at 06s. Whatever. We'll take an 08 right there. We'll put another 08 out right here. This is 70 cents now in the money on Amazon. And this was a trade that we talked about it. We're trying to get you guys to stay in it. I'm trying to get myself to stay in it here. But when it drops down like this and we have the shares that we have, we definitely start to get some out. So this is a good trade for me here on Amazon. Wow. We again, I mean, the DJ Khaled thing is getting old, so let's just do this. I mean, now we're starting to bank out on Amazon. And again, like we talked about this on the sticky note, we talked about it all morning, so that's why I'm happy that this is actually working out now for us, because sometimes we don't follow our plans to a T, and today looks like we are, and we are definitely being rewarded with this here again today. AMD still, man, a big profit center for me again today is Advanced Micro Devices. However, this name's not moving as rapidly as I sort of thought it would back down to the downside. Sure, we get some great fills early, and I mean, that was one, like, I'm talking about being disappointed. That's a 119 fill, that's a 117 out. So the very first trade we took today was a $2 winner, right? So the dollar bandit is here on AMD as well, and we're gonna try to get that going on Amazon as we just take another out in the 20s. Hopefully we can get this down to 122.50, which is where the 200 period is. But first things first, we need a rejection of VWAP. But it's hitting it and rejecting it back up to the upside. I want it to stay underneath this. We got to stay underneath 123.50. Can't let VWAP hold, which it's doing. So this, no more reloads at all until we get back up to 124. If it's going to work, we got to let it go here and see what it does. Unfortunately, Carvana really hasn't been on our minds too much here.
I just moved my level 2 in chart from Carvana to Affirm because Carvana has been a disappointment.
Yeah, it's just sitting here at 19 right now, so trying to see what happens with that.
I think you want to get paid. You have to start ring and register on some of these shorts because, like, a couple of things, like the market. That's stair step up any way you want to look at it. You know, obviously making some higher lows. Chance that we could roll over big from here. So I don't want to complain about the fact that shorts are working. Firm just broke its little upward trend, so that's now heading back into the downside. I think I want to look for underneath VWAP, underneath 1680 for some reloads. Work it to the $16. I think that's where the bottom could be. Amazon's trying to break trend as well, so this would be a higher low if it made it. But it hasn't necessarily made that higher low right now. Rivian is continue to push down. I haven't taken it out yet on Rivian. Remember, it's 1380 that was that level on the 50 period on the daily. So I wanted to really clear out underneath, give some low 70s before I start taking this one out on Rivian. Short into that 14 level and then actually adding on the way down. Like instead of getting out here and here, we're adding on the way in for this continued flush into the downside. So a little bit more patience, because this has been one of those opens where, quite frankly, like you had some whipsaw action. If something was set up, just allow yourself to maybe sit in it and let it work. I thought NEO $8 was going to be something. That's Rivian. NEO, I guess you could have the same trade if you shorted NEO at like 790. I was waiting for a little bit closer to 8 even, but that's a distinction without a difference. Either one of those would have worked out pretty nicely.
All right, we're going to put one more bid. We're sitting down here on okay, Amazon. Man, this feels good sometimes. Like, you know, when you get those good trades and you have them and they're working exactly as you thought they would, man. Bye-bye, Amazon. We just talked about this coming down to that 122.50 marker. There it is right there. So, hey, man, we'll Barry Horowitz ourselves, pat ourselves on the back and go like this one more time because he ain't lying. It's another one right there for that. Yeah, Amazon puts whatever you want. Make sure, though, that you are following me on Twitter at Trader TV Sean. We got some good trades going on here. This is the sticky note from today. It talks all about the only two trades I'm in. AMD short, Amazon short. Me and Neil looked at Carvana. We've talked about that, and we got to go look over at Tesla as well. But for me, I'm looking Tesla.
Just turned a little bit.
Yeah, I'm looking Tesla long. So being in these shorts, which right now, bangers, we don't need to do anything else. So I'm just going to wait. There goes AMD right now to the downside. We just get an 80 fill right there. So that's going to be a big trade for us. There goes Amazon right down to that level that we said we'd be looking at here. We want this 122.50 first. I'm going to put another bid. This is what happens when you take in more shares, right? And this is why I'm happy with what's been happening is that I know that I scalp out too much, but that's fine. That's the way I'm trading. I'm fine with that. Would love to be able to hold a little bit longer for more shares. But just like we get out there at 87, now look, now it's back through O's again, right? So you got to sort of take the good with the bad on your trading style. And just right there on AMD as well. Look what's happening to AMD right now. Wow, huge move to the upside. So if you don't scalp some out, now you're in trouble. What exactly is happening right now with AMD?
NVIDIA broke the top just now.
Okay, so this is quite the move. Okay, there we go. So we're out. Okay, AMD just got us out there on that, through that. As we do get stopped out on AMD, we're going to give it one more shot. There it is. We should be out soon. So there it is. So AMD takes out 120 on that crazy move out of nowhere there. That happened to us yesterday on AMD as well. Maybe we stay away from this one and just focus on Amazon. But AMD, huge upside move right there out of nowhere. That's okay. That was the short that we liked. That's a monster move. Up to 121 maybe, AMD. Where are we going on that? I almost feel like there was something that hit there.
I don't know if something just hit, but I can tell you at the same moment you just said that, I immediately flipped over. Well, I had a chart up on NVIDIA, but it broke 380. It's at 382.5. Like it's screaming to the upside. However, flip side, my three shorts are in the money, and I'm sort of just working the same three. At this point, there's not a heck of a lot going on in those names except a slow slide to the downside.
Wow.
But I went over to Marvell to see what was happening with that name. Low of the day. I went to Intel, bouncing off the low of the day. So this is whatever is going on in chipland. I feel like AMD and NVIDIA are kind of churning on their own here. NVIDIA, we did say we liked a fade on this one if it were to get up to this lower high. So 387, I think that's a good level for NVIDIA here, but this is on an absolute warpath, and it looks like it's just those two names. Rivian, like I said, was looking pretty good. Amazon, it's holding on to 123. I didn't get any more shares up at 124. I still have an offer up there. I can actually cancel that now. So I'm still looking to play off the 124 level there, and Tesla's breaking the high. So a bit of a concern for the Rivian short, the fact that Tesla looks like it wants to take out that high. Rivian got down to 1365. My fills were at 72 and 65. I don't want to add back into this till I see it rolling over off VWAP or rolling over off 14 even. Patience worked on the way in. I want to make sure I'm just as patient on the way out. And yes, Cool. That's a good name. Cool is a good name.
Yes.
I forgot all about MVIS. Apologies. That was a great breakout yesterday. I didn't have 7. I had it actually at 750, but it just wick bottomed off 7. Guess what could be the top break? Ye old 750. So let's let the volume come into this one, looking like it's kind of starting to pick itself up after a lackluster morning. Oh, and yeah, Carvana did make a move. I'm not saying it was a great one. It did not break $20, but it got up to 1950. Bit of a lower high double top. 1950 looking like a decent level for Carvana. It held 18 pretty nicely there. So if you're watching this on the bull case, I wanted 17. The term was at 1760. That's been the case for the dip buys for me. Nothing actually got to the price I wanted. Hence, I have no longs because I didn't find a single long that was at the price I wanted to get. And that's okay. You don't have to rush things at that open.
Checking out Lucid. Lucid's not actually doing anything right now, so that's kind of, and people are saying that TD Ameritrade, something's going on with it, so watch out for that. If that platform, obviously we don't.
The issue with the platform.
Yeah, we don't support that, but definitely. I mean, like we keep saying all the time, man, your broker works for you, so let them know. Obviously, you guys are. I mean, I've been screaming.
Complain to your broker.
We don't have to tell our traders that, I don't think. If there is a problem with the platform, throw keyboards and stuff like that.
I knew this was going to happen?
What was going to happen?
I said this, like 2 days in a row, Coinbase was a distraction, looking to make a big short off the open. And the day that you don't look at it, or the day that it was trash, both those times, it wicks up there. This is 54. This is yesterday's high. It basically gives you the run over yesterday's high at 54. There's your classic over-under, literally my favorite setup for short. And there's your $1.50. I knew it. That's going to be the case. There is something to be said about, hey, man, if it didn't work 2 days in a row, you shouldn't try it the third day. So I can't get too mad at myself. But, yeah, Coinbase made a big move there. Rivian not really doing anything. Affirm is starting to kick back up. Didn't really get that low. I was sitting down at yesterday's low. Cancel that. If Affirm rolls over at VWAP, great. If it rolls over back in front of 17, I'm going to be reloading that short as well. So Rivian, Amazon, Affirm, not really trading anything different at this point. You guys let us know what you're watching here. I took the early L on GME. That's GameStop. My short was on this curl to the high of the day. It's right back where it was before. I guess the 22 level a little bit better than 21, but it has to settle down. If it resolves itself lower, I can always jump back into it. At this point, I don't want to rush into it. NVIDIA's still making some moves up there, but as I said, this is not, it's not at levels that I'd feel comfortable rolling into the shorts just yet, but it could still get there as we go to Brendo for happening now. What happened on chips?
Wholesale inventories number out there at 10 o'clock, guys, negative 0.1% versus negative 0.2% expected on the month over month. So not a huge miss, a little bit downside though. Wholesale sales, meanwhile, 0.2 versus 0.9 expected, but that's wholesale inventories negative 0.1 versus negative 0.2 for that. Happening now, brought to you by Chart Prime. They just unveiled cutting-edge trading suite optimized with newly upgraded algorithms for unmatched market signal and pattern detection. Use a QR code on screen right now for 35% discount, guys. Shout out to our friends over at Chart Prime. Here's how the board is shaping up right now. S&P dead flat, 0.0. Well, there's a 1. How about that? It's positive. The Dow 0.05 to the upside. The Russell 123 all red on the day. 0.18, 0.38 there for the composite and the 100. If you're looking at the NASDAQ, a few things we touched on. If you're with us pre-market this morning, Lucid moving into China, going to sell imported cars in China, maybe set up their own manufacturing shop there as well. We had GME on watch off earnings, and Tesla as well. Looking at Spain maybe for their next manufacturing facility. NVIDIA, along with AMD, guys, showing all kinds of strength back to that last kind of pivot low on the way down yesterday.
And oh man.
So here comes
this AMD is
here comes Amazon.
Why not
However,
flip long?
I don't know what's going on in Meta right now, but 261, and it's not a gigantic bid, so I'm not going to show you a level on the level 2 that's doing anything, but it's VWAP, it's 261, it's a pre-market low, and it is just bouncing off of this level. The market's at the high, and this is trying to get going. So if we bounce off here, I think you're looking for longs, but I'm giving it a chance. I'm not completely convinced about this, the long side. So I am looking for a short if it starts holding beneath it. I was just mentioning Amazon there. It did just claw back up to 124. Went for the reload. Did get some up there in the 70s. I was also at the same time trying to grab something. It doesn't really matter. I wasn't able to get the fill over there in Carvana, so it doesn't really matter. Got the refill there in Amazon. If it cannot get past and hold beneath 123, got to cover in front of that level. Like it's still showing support at 123, the same way Meta was there. The shorts still feel pretty valid, the names that are weak. All three of these are holding the resistance levels. Tesla is inching closer and closer to 230. I wish I could tell you the long was in, or that I had the long, or that we were able to sniff out the long, but at least we're going to wait until 229, 230 to attempt the short on this one. You really have to pick and choose your battles this morning when it comes to sell side. The good thing now is Tesla going up, high of the day. Rivian, which we are still holding short, was unable to get a reload. We still have half of it here, right back at the low of the day. So I still like this one breaking down and continuing to look weak. Lucid, we said this would be a nothing burger at these prices. I guess if you shorted the pop and got in early, congratulations to you. I was waiting for $7. Lucid back on lows as well. So Lucid, Rivian weak, Tesla strong. Amazon, I guess it wants to test this 124 again here.
We're still in the money on Amazon, and we've done actually quite well on it. But yeah, we're in the same kind of boat as you right now, trying to. It's funny because we're both trying to go short here on Amazon. So let's see if this can eventually. Well, I mean, we've already been short, so I'm already short this name. Obviously, looking to get more short, so we did take that out. If we come into the 50s, we'll take a piece. We're still short at 80, right? And so, like I said, a little bit more shares here than normal for me on this name. AMD, Amazon. What I'm doing now is I'm just looking. I have a couple bids here out. I just want to make sure that if we do come back in, I don't have too many, because sometimes it's like I put too many out and it's just like boom, it comes down in and we don't have enough left. So there's a 50 out. Now let's wait to see. AMD has been the one that's. We actually did okay a little bit. Not okay. I mean, it's now, here we go. It's going to take us out. But AMD right now, breaking back through 121. We just got a couple outs there in the 50s. Like I was like saying, why am I short this name? And then all of a sudden it tanked 50 cents. So we're able to get something out. But right now we are at that pressure point here on AMD where it looks like, pressure bust pipes. And this looks like it's going to get busted out right now too. But there's a little bit of a dip down. And we may just have to, I'm going to put another bid at 70. I don't think we're going to get anything down there. It's so strong on the high side right now, AMD. Once it broke through that 120, which was the level that we had written down, I'm still, out of the corner of my eye, I'm watching Amazon. I mean, I'm short everything. There it goes. So now through there. So we will flush ourselves down the toilet on that AMD short idea. That did not print. So nothing to do there, man. The trend is your friend. You're right, Mr. Obe, right there. And today, I mean, what are you supposed to do? We were playing off that 14,400. It just broke. I mean, nothing to do. The trend is your friend. I mean, yesterday the NASDAQ got killed, right? So we tried to go short again here today. Looks like AMD just had that blowout top. Hopefully that didn't blow us out, but we'll try one more time. We don't necessarily want to do this over and over again, but let's just wait to see. That top was 121.10. We can hold this against us back there. So let's see if it does fall now. 121.10. Newest out position for us here on AMD. If it takes us out, and we'll be like, okay, you win. Take our lunch one more time. I do like the Amazon short. We're still in that one, but that again is pushing some highs here too.
Yeah, Amazon, I did the same thing, so there's no point showing. I got some out as it got to the 50s. It's retesting the highs. I want to try to reload. I just took it out in Rivian as well. It bounced right off the bottom, and then came right back into like our first out, which was in the low 1370s. So I took a little more out there. The trend on the market has been to the upside. I do not need this turning off the bottom on me. It's been a good short, but I was pretty aggressively into it. I just want to make sure that we're taking some profit if this market wants to turn on us. Amazon, as you mentioned, really wants to test that high. Got some out 50s. VWAP didn't even come in here. If it blows the top, just got to get out. It was MVIS. I might have said I missed the fill in Carvana. That was a slip of the tongue. It was actually MVIS that I did not get filled on when it took out the pre-market high. However, it's kind of dipping back in here, so there's always a chance that it can consolidate and give me a more clean entry. It went all the way to 770 and then sort of came back in here. So there was a chance I've already scalped it, but it's on the way back in. If I'm taking it on the way back after that run, I got to wait for a little bit of a dip here. So it was MVIS that I missed the fill on.
Oh my God. Are you kidding me, AMD?
What happened?
How many times? Now we're 50 cents in the money and we're making it back, but like how often does this have to happen? Right there where we get stopped out of the bigger position. We actually put on the same shares, but it's just we got stopped out for a bigger loss than what we can even make right now because our average price on AMD was like 70 something. So now we should have 30 cents, but we already lost. See, so this is why I'm mad, because what we lose the 30 cents, even though we're making it back right now, it's just a flat trade. So that sucks. Like, to be right and to not be able to do that, oh man, where's that stupid face slap thing right there? I'm fine with it because it's a win, and here it comes pulling back pretty nicely here on AMD, but at the same time, man, not good execution for me to get out there at 121. Serenity now. Oh no, now he's going down even more. Okay, well, this is the life of a trader. I always say that. That's how I get through my day, you know, just telling myself that this is what has to happen. But there it is, man, all the way to the downside. Hey, we'll spin it again. It's a bang for 2023 right now, and it's going to be a good trade. Siren's up for getting out at 121 like a chump right there. It goes to 121. The thing is like if I don't get out at 120 there on the break, you know, then it's all the way up to 121. So sure, I basically have the high of the day right there, 121.07. I don't get out at 121. Like I give it to 121.05, things like that. But it broke it. So there it is. What am I gonna do? Give it 10 cents? And then, you know, it's like this is life of a trader. Nice move to the downside. Thank you, AMD, for at least giving us some money back. But yeah, that sucked. Meanwhile, of course, here goes Amazon. Watch out for 124.50.
Yeah, I mean, Amazon breaks up, and I found something weaker, which was Meta. Meta broke that support level we were just looking at there. It was a refresher. I'm now out of Amazon, so I'll slap the fail on that one. It was good for a scalp trade early, but it just took out the top. There was that support on Meta. It broke. I shorted underneath. I just got 261 half, or 260 half into 260. But let's go over to Amazon here. I want to fade Meta now at that VWAP, or maybe even a little bit above. But look at the break on Amazon. It was a good short early. The reload was on the front, maybe not enough back end there, waiting for it to show some weakness. But it's now going to the upside pretty strong here on Amazon. If it reestablishes underneath, fine. But when it was started going up and at 9:30, I was like, hey, man, wait for it to get up here. That's me, by the way. Hey, man, I'm talking to myself. Wait for it to get back up to like 125 or 125 and a half. It started a curl. I jumped at that trade. Now I want to be a little bit more patient with that short. Rivian bouncing, so that was a pretty good out, I think, to have taken some more Rivian out, but it doesn't get to VWAP. Still holding the bottom end of the channel. I think this one looks pretty solid. And I just picked up that MVIS, starting to come back in here to VWAP. The question just becomes, can it hold on to the pre-market low down here at 720? I want to work into the long on the way back on MVIS after missing the breakout here. So it's been a while to get into a long, and it's a small cap long, oddly enough. What about Intel, says Renata. What about them? So Intel tried to break the top. It's still inside the pocket. Yeah, inside range today on Intel. I don't really see anything, except when you zoom out, I see an obvious short. Which if you're not already in this one, then I don't know what you're doing with it. Because look at that. I mean, that's just 31.50 for how many days in a row? Yeah, that's what happens when you're looking at other names on your list that aren't one of your go-tos. You have to have this 30 cents ago or 20 cents ago. That short's come and gone. Otherwise, you're waiting for a break of 31 even. It's now trading in the middle. That's no dice for me.
That's just funny that like these two trades that were both so big at one point have sort of come back in a little bit there. I mean, AMD was such a monster short. We took $2 early on this name, and now we're taking $1 again here on there it goes. Break lower, man. Wow. And again, you know, I keep saying it over and over again when I talk about this, like, ye of little faith. Like, why didn't we just hold everything for this move back down? Oh, yeah, because it told us it was a long and then pulled the rug on ourselves right there to the upside. So, I'm like a magician there. I set the table, then pull it on myself right there. So here we go. 119.86. We just took a bid down there, so that's a good bid for us on this name. And then, by the way, Amazon is back in the building as well right now. As we're short in the money on this trade, we have not lost on Amazon today. We told you where our out was, of course, was 124.50. So let's go Amazon. Bring it back in, man. This day can be saved. Well, be saved. We're positive on the day. So, but let's just keep on. We just saving the money that we had early. We gave it back on that AMD rip, which was sucky. But it's all coming back to me now as this is coming back into the downside here for Amazon. We're bidding 88s. Why are we doing that? I don't know. So let's just bid some 93s there and get it out. Oh, yeah, because I always put 88, 66s, Lindros, Lemieux. I don't really know why.
It's easier to hit a double number. I put 22s.
Yeah, that's probably why. That is probably why.
I think
it's not even like a favorite.
A lot of traders do that. I don't think it's that abnormal. Oh, we got to go to Brendan. He's got some news for us.
Streaming-related story so far today in movement. Anyways, just double-checking on Warner Brothers here. WBD back to the upside so far. Day highs, 4.29%, guys, for Warner Brothers.
All right. That literally, go ahead. That literally stopped at 88, so I don't know.
Well,
no, like
sometimes it'd be like that. That's my new favorite thing because
literally stopped there. As my
I don't remember who I stole it. I definitely stole that from someone. There's another trader that would say that all the time. I love taking lines that I hear on the floor over and over again. Me? No, never.
No.
It really just, it is what it is. It'd be like that. You put your order out there at a random price. You don't put it at the O's because that's a stupid area to put it. So you go 88 instead of evens or like 92 or just some random number. And then the algos decides that I understand what's going on. So MVIS is trying to bounce here. I'm still seeing it slow down, but I'm not really seeing, I'm zooming out so you guys can see what it did at these prices yesterday. Like this was, in the afternoon, this is where the long was before I got in. I got in the 50, and then it consolidated 740. So that's what I'm looking for here on MVIS, but it hasn't shown me that strength just yet to get that back in. Meta's now breaking out. I'm going to have to give this one up. I like that short. Now wants to take out the high. Don't really want to give it all the way to that top. I still think it's a weak name, but the strength has just come back into the NASDAQ taking out the top, unfortunately. So the only things, like the original, like, Rivian and Affirm stay in the pocket, but Meta doesn't seem to want to break down. I scalped a little bit, but I was looking for $1.50 before I took the next out there. If it can hold a high, fair enough. That's about the only place to jump back into it. And Tesla, $1 away from the inevitable 229 to 230 short, which I've been waiting for. Just never got along there. Tesla is straight up. At least we have gotten away from shorting it until it gets to the key level. But I don't want to jump into this till it's back into the trade on Meta. I'm not going to pull up Tesla because I got my hands full waiting for an entry on Meta back into the downside.
Yeah, this market seems like it's gone, man. Isn't that so crazy that it literally it stopped at 88 there on Amazon? Like, we were waiting for that fill, and it stopped on a dime at 88. So I don't know. We didn't get the fill, but now it's back up to the upside. Still probably looking for that short, but I mean, the reason why we're in it, just to try to justify it to myself and everybody else out there as well. We're up on Amazon, so I don't have to really justify anything. But to myself, 124.50 is where we just went short, and that's a little bit of an area right there to work off of. It's just been a big climb here for Amazon, so I don't necessarily think that this move is, the be-all, end-all. It's up 2.5%. It's way higher than the market. If the market does fall down, we've seen Amazon come back in, but we're done with this now. We just tried to get that fill lower. We took a lot of that trade out for that, so now it looks like it does want to go higher here and break some of these tops. So, we'll put a little bit more short here, but our top is right here. So this is the break. We're short at 32. If it breaks 50, we're out. So that's the trade. It looks like it wants to do that. I mean, if this market continues to climb here today, then yeah, we're going to get busted out. It just tried to take 14.4 again and missed it. So, nice downside move there. Happened off 14.4, but now we've taken it and hovered around there with the bottom only being 13.9. So whether or not we go back to VWAP here, look at the VWAP bounce early. The VWAP bounce again there at 10. So, now feels like it wants to go higher, and we have to take advantage of that move to the downside next time it happens again as well. So we've definitely cleaned up on AMD. That's $1 in the money right now, so bang if you had that short. But again, we got taken out for the L at the high side at 121 before reloading it. So, you know, Neil and I are honest with our trades, and that's why we post them here. Literally too many trades here on Amazon, but we're still in the short, trying to see if this wants to go back to the downside, and my out's at 124.50. So if we break it, which is pennies away right now, we're short at 35, so that will be a 20-cent hit or so on Amazon, and it looks like we're about to do that. AMD, of course, gave us the money back, so Amazon doesn't look like it wants to do that.
Yeah, so I'm going to do this. I got out of Meta. It tried to break down. Here we go. Thank you guys for putting on the chart there. Yeah, so it did the breakdown. I worked into the short. It got to that 60. I started getting out at 60. It ended up bouncing. You see it take out the high. There was never a curl or, you know what I mean? Like, it didn't really stop at 263 to give any kind of a shot at getting short on the way back in, so I just stopped out at the high of the day. So Meta's going to obviously suck. Rivian. So we've talked about this before. My average price on Rivian is obviously going to have been in the 80s, but my last entry, I was shorting it and adding on the way down, right? So I wasn't getting out on the way down, I was adding on the way down. My last entry was at 78, so it's going to show me as I've covered all of the 95s and as I've covered the ones I had in the 80s, it'll show you only in the 78. In my mind, and I know the trade, how it works is you're really just short at the 80s. If we roll over at 14, this is still valid. I'll look for re-entry on the back end there if we can get it. MVIS, I just got into again. Back over to the 3-minute chart. Bounced off VWAP, so I add back in, looking for that, hold of VWAP. If it gets back underneath like 725, I'm out. Work it into $8 is going to be the game plan. And my goodness, okay, so Carvana just did the same thing at 18 bucks again.
Oh my God.
So it wicked down, held 18, and is now making another churn back to the upside here. So strong move over there in Carvana. Still yet to challenge the $20 level. Maybe this is the time it bounces and actually gets to 20, where I'm looking for a fail break at 20, a hold above. I can set you up into a long trade as well. And there goes Tesla. Tesla refused to break 229 because I wanted the short from 229 to 230. This is what it did at 229. Went to 229.00 and pulls back $1 because I want the fills above.
Oh man, this could have been like a completely. I only have 2 trades all day. It's 10:20 right now. We only have 2 trades. Well, we have multiple trades, but 2 names: AMD and Amazon. And AMD right there. We just got to fill that VWAP. Like, what a moneymaker that's been here. If you just rolled that short and did not get out at 121. Let's look at something else. Google maybe. We're gonna go to the small cap recap in a second. Let me just see what's happening with Google right now. As it's okay. Well, maybe this is why we're not doing anything with Google right now. Nothing. I hear some whooshing and wooing in the background. I think it's Carvana. Carvana, nice little move
it's gotta
back up.
It's got to be Carvana.
Although not doing much. It just keeps bouncing off that 18, right? Now it's taking, I say not doing much. It's going nicely right now. There goes Carvana up to 19.22 and trying to go. We got honestly, man, we got so saved. You have no idea. You might have heard it under my breath. I was like, oh, thank God. This just came back in, and we actually took profit on Amazon there when it came back to the downside. So like I told you, we were short 30, 35, something like that. And so all these outs, nothing's even at 35. 28s, 30s. We actually got a 22 fill right there as well. What fill is this? 22s. So really saved there by Amazon at 124.50. But I don't really want to add to this. If it comes back in, it comes back in. We have some of our bids a little bit lower on this. But Amazon right now in trouble to the upside. Just very, very thankful that we're able to save a little bit on that one. So Amazon downside right now, or upside right now, AMD downside. And look at that cover on AMD. 119.50. So that was a good one. We only have 10% left of this name as we go over to the big desk with Brendo.
Huh?
Hey, look, it's Brad. He's running. Let's go. Small cap recap brought to you by Huiz. The stock ticker HUIZ added 300,000 new customers in Q1, bringing their total to approximately 8.7 million, with 66.2% of long-term insurance customers from higher tier cities, and strong persistency and consistency. Check out their 23 Q1 results. QR code, bottom of the screen right now. HUIZ, shout out to them. A few little ones moving around here so far today. BAOS, little tiny marketing agency from China. 450,000 share float I saw on this one. Unbelievable move out of the gate back to, hey, there's Neil and Sean. There we go.
How are you in the market with that many shares? What's going on? There you go.
1,000 share float, unbelievably tiny. Wasn't much in the way of news on that one today for BAOS. MGRX, meanwhile, up on a deal with Barstool Sports here this morning. So MGRX, $2.20. Not a huge one either, but just made a day high, trying to pull back. Currently, a Clarion getting a bit of a boost this morning as well. After their back pain detection system results from a trial came back better than expected. And yeah, everybody watching this one in the back right now, CVNA, day highs, guys.
Here's $20 on Carvana. So that thing, it did it 18. It did it twice. It did it 3 times. Okay, no, it bounced twice. But it finally broke 19.5. Here comes that $20 level. The last time it was here was at about 8 o'clock this morning, and it did a bit of a reversal. That's a big level in the daily. The shorts are in trouble if this holds volume above 20 even, if they're not already in trouble as well. I did get a reload on Rivian, and I have some MVIS in there, but you know, this one breaks 20. I do not want to get away from it here. I'm looking for that over-under trade where you can get a quick little fail break trade and a scalp back into like 1950. I didn't see volume above 20. I'm not chasing this move. The intention was to take a hopeful fail break on Carvana here at that 20 level. Pure squeeze play, 60% short, depending on your source.
All right, the AMD short is working. Obviously, Amazon, we are flat on that stock today because we just got taken out on Amazon right there to the upside. So bunch of good shorts, you know, taken out right there at the end for that move. And there it goes right up to the upside. So there goes Amazon. Obviously, that one was not right. This AMD short's been pretty cash all day. But we got to start flipping over to some longs because this market is I'm just thinking it doesn't hold 14.4. But and it does. It's not like it's holding right now. It's just hovering a little bit higher. So I still actually favoring the short. I mean, I don't know. It's amazing that we can still be alive. I mean, this has been a huge market move up today on that jobless claims number. And then Apple, same kind of ways right there, gave us this short early, and we just weren't looking at it at 178.70 right there. A bunch of back and forth, and now it's trying to get right back up to those levels again. So watch out for Apple. Google's kind of barcoding right now as well. We could check out GameStop was a name that we haven't looked at today, really, 2021. So again, a big move off the open. You know, we've seen this happen before where names get squashed and then big moves off the open. So we were talking about 20 up to 22. That's 10%, right? $2 on 20, now fading back in and hovering near view up, looking to go short, it looks like there off view up. I think we got to pay for shorts on that one. So you have to watch out for GameStop. AMC, I don't think is doing anything. Alibaba's a name that we like, but I still think we want to go short now. I just got to find the right levels to do that on what stock. Alibaba, probably 86 and change is a good one up there. Google, we already talked about that not doing anything. If anything, Google might be setting up for a short, but this has been one of those names that, you know, once it goes, you kind of, like, it's just doing nothing. Like, once it goes is when we want to short it. I don't know if we want to short it in here right now, though we have that 122.20. That's been the high, and we are trying to go under VWAP right now, but the market's well above. So if anything, it's probably the longs that we're looking for now, not the shorts. So, yeah, let's just try to find some more. Palantir, you were in Palantir earlier, weren't you?
That didn't last very long. But
no,
so
right now.
Carvana did break 20. It got to 20 and change. I want to say like 8 or 9 or something like that. And now back in. I did grab the short. I don't have a great price. A lot of times here, it'd be ideal to have 85 to 90. I ended up getting a 78 as an average. So I'll give it to the high. Looking for the VWAP retracement here. It did do that over under. But if that's if that's going to work, it's already starting to do so now. But my stop is at the high of the day. It's not 2 cents higher. There you go. Like, it immediately triggered out. I'm looking for that play. I want my R&R to be ideally 20 to 25 cents. I end up losing about 30 there. So a little bit on the higher end. But it's risk reward into 19. It could still be valid. But the volume's starting to pick back up here. Not shorting it anywhere else except for that 20 level. Looks like a strong one here. I do have one long, but I don't think it counts when the NASDAQ's going up. I do have MVIS, but that's not something that cares about the market overall. So Microvision, it is bouncing off VWAP. It made that nice bounce there. I added to it at 40s. I will take some out above 50, although I don't know why I put 2 orders there, and then look for 70s and then $8 to the upside. Tesla still doesn't seem to want 230. It just keeps turning at 229. So this is, it's always frustrating when you're like, yeah, I'm being patient, but I'm being a little bit too patient with Tesla. I'll go for 229. That probably means it runs it over.
Shit, now it comes
220.
down.
Now it's of course it's flushing. I have Rivian, but I wanted Tesla 229 to 230 for the turn, and now the market wants to make that reversal. I'll keep checking back in on Carvana, but that one could just be gonzo at this point. Oh no, it isn't. I got wicked out. Now it's back at 1970.
All right. Yeah, I was just like, okay, of course, now when I finally go long a name that's going to follow the market, I think Apple, the market wants to come back down right now. But there it is right here, Apple. Of course, AMD does fall on this market move, but here goes Apple. We'll take something out at 50. There it is. So we're long at 39, just a quick little scalp up there as we try to get back to the day's high. Let's put some orders up in the 70s here, just in case we get to that level again. And then we'll watch to see if it wants to go from there. But we are above VWAP on this. We flipped up our script here a little bit. The momentum's definitely to the high side, I would say right now, but we are, again, this just looks like Apple. Like, as long as we can stay above VWAP and start to go back up to the upside, we can take this out, 14,420. We've looked at the NASDAQ on a longer time frame. Here's the 30-minute chart is what I like to look at it for. 2030, it doesn't really make a difference where exactly, but there it is, a nice dip down. There's 14,300 just held. So now if we can get through this, where, this is the 200 period on the NASDAQ, is actually right here, right now. So that's 14,390. So we're trying to hold all these levels and keep going. Don't know why VWAP is not filling out right there. We'll have to find out what the setting is for that. But whether or not we get back up to 14.5, that would be really nice. And here goes Apple a little bit now. Finally, see, we switch up the game, and we get 20 cents the other way here for Apple. So into the 50s, nice trade here. Here's 20 cents exactly, so we'll take it right there at 60. Here goes a nice move up to 66. So, yeah, making that money back now on the Apple long. Sometimes you just got to flip it up a little bit. We were looking for the shorts. We did have the shorts early, but then they stopped printing, and we flipped them over. So there's a little bit of a long there on Apple into the day's high again, making sure we take some out. If it breaks, it breaks, and that'll be even a better trade. So right now, Apple, 20 cents. We'll see if we can go a little bit, 15 cents now, but 20 cents out for that top spot. And then we have another out right here at 66. So maybe we can get up there, fill it, and then we'll wait for a high break of 179. And then we'll go from there. So right now, Apple pulling back a little bit, but we've already taken out 20%. That's it. So 10 each time, and that is Apple as well. Amazon. I mean, this is why.
Apparently,
keeps on going. Yeah.
Apparently, Boeing's having a good day because I see Comp SRX in the chat talking about BA Baracus.
He's liking
and
that.
I'm sure you're not really meaning to talk. You're not really actually meaning to talk about the A team. You knew I would get that reference, so congratulations. I guess Boeing's having a good day. I just took my 20 cents on MBIS first out there. It's continuing to leg higher. I am now in the Tesla short in front of that 229. The high of the day is just above it. So about 50 points of risk, 50 cents of risk, not points, that's the futures. 50 cents of risk on Tesla as I have a 75 short in the highs at the quarter. My first out's at about that 1-to-1. It is time for the crypto update with Brendo. It's 10:30 already.
Wow.
Hey guys, busy day. But we are dealing with a number of headlines as far as crypto is concerned so far. The latest that we mentioned when it came out there, the SEC filing a motion essentially to request the freezing of Binance's assets ahead of this court case and their day in court. So that was the big headline today. CEO Armstrong from Coinbase, meanwhile, saying there's no risk to a run at Coinbase, similar to what happened to FTX. Consensus is that Congress is more supportive of crypto. Not sure where he's getting that idea from, but hey, we'll see. BTC, meanwhile, back to the upside as we speak right now. A nice move here underway. 26,500 just being taken back to the upside. So we are finally back to positive on the session. This looks like 24 hours. So 0.2 still downside, 26,522. But on the 12-hour period, now positive on the day. Trying to break out of this multi-day consolidation, but you can see nice green numbers coming into play here, guys, for crypto today.
I pity the fool that doesn't hit the like and subscribe button, or that doesn't go long Boeing, because apparently Boeing is actually up 2%. Good for you, Boeing.
They had that move yesterday, and
they did. So yeah, but Boeing,
Google.
Boeing's having a great day today, but this is where I rag on the stock. Look at the range on the daily chart. Like, really, could you just break 220 already? You know you want to. You know you want to break 220. Like, look at this. It's just been hanging out in a $25 range for, like, about a million years. It's ridiculous. Maybe it breaks 220 today. I don't know. I want to be there for it if it happens. I got to go over there and deal with one of these and buy one of these. I mean, a firm. So we got the firm short. I haven't actually rolled back into the short just yet. Oh, come on. This... We were just talking about that. I was just offering 92s for a while, and now it's stopping. There we go. I just got my fill in a firm there. So it ticked up, got to 92 once. I hit 91s, didn't fill me. Goes all the way down to VWAP. Now it does fill me up there at that 92. So I'm rolling back into the firm. I might add to this as the market's getting a bit top heavy. The wicks over 17 were, like, every time it got above 17, it rejected it. So to me, the stop is at 17.10. I have this, I have Tesla. Tesla's still doing a dance at 229, no breakdown, no break of the high of the day. I want to stay patient and hold on to this one. Rivian as well. I got a bit of a curl here on Rivian above VWAP, took some out when it gave me 10 cents, didn't want to look a gift horse in the mouth. It's still making lower highs as it tries to channel into the downside. And what was oh yeah, Uber. About 30 minutes ago, I was like, yeah, Uber's getting close to $40. It's still grinding off this 40 level. I think it's setting up for a potential break. Just a reminder, this was above $40 literally yesterday and for the 2 days before that. So it's got overhead resistance, but big level there for Uber. MVIS, the one long, is starting to continuing to work. I'm offering in front of 770s. We'll take that out, and if it gets to $8, I think I want to be out in front of 8, and then let's see if it can hold a bit above 8. It kind of rejected that big time yesterday. I know because I was in it last night.
All right. Amazon's trying to break 125. It actually just did break 125. We're going to go a little bit short here. Again, too bad. We don't have enough shares on this. And then there's a reason why. I mean, Amazon's been so strong right now that we'll hold a little piece. We're going to try to get some more in the 90s here just in case. But right now, Amazon just took 1 in 25 and finally took a level and then retraced back a little bit here. So whether or not it's just picking up steam to break again here, Amazon up 3%. You know, okay, here we go. Now it's starting to go to the downside, but I'm not convinced that this is a downside move at all on Amazon. So let's just wait. But it's up 3%. It's a nice move. Obviously, if the market comes back down, this is going to be a name that's going to get some, steam taken out of it a little bit. We did notice Apple starting to get some steam out of it as well. We'll get another piece out at 50. But we're still waiting for higher takes here on Apple. Wow, there we go. Oh, man, we're at 58. Okay, good. We just got a 58 fill on that one, so that's going to be good. We switched up our game on Apple.
Tesla.
Obviously there. Tesla's at 230 right now?
So no, it's at 229.
Whoa,
15.
big size.
I was going to say, whoa, big size on the offer. 70,000 shares on the offer at 219.15. If this gets 230, it's going to stop me at the high of the day. I know what's going to happen. There you go. I do not want that size to show up because quite frankly, if they take that fill, it's going to run the high of the day. So someone just shorted in front. I was in the 219 looking for a bigger move. Could have scalped it for like 30 cents. But then the R&R doesn't really work out for me if I'm doing that too often. It's too strong to the upside, I think. Now it's breaking tops. Wait for 230. Strong seller. It just came in and got absolutely run over. They got run over, but they took the fill. Like, that was not fake size. Someone wanted 80. I think it was 80,000 shares. They took 10,000 right away. The last 70,000 got taken in one swipe. I just did take the fill in MVIS at in front of 770. I got 769. Hey, that's not a bad price. Don't want to look at gift horse in the mouth. It's a coincidence. I was going to take some out in front of 770. That's what are you going to do? It's 69 in front of it. So we get to $8. We want to get out of that one. Waited for it to pull back here, bounce off VWAP, and now heading upside. The only long I have is going to be that. Affirm is starting to come back in to that 17 level as well. We're back into the short there, but that's, again, grinding higher. It's the rejection of 17 earlier. And I guess also the rejection of the news yesterday. This was the lower high from yesterday, right at 17. So right at the end of the day, in the last 2 hours when we were trading for you guys, 17 gave it up big time on Affirm. That's why I like the level here for the short.
So Minnesota is releasing Dalvin Cook. I think that's who the Bills should get.
No. Okay. Okay.
Not to
So
go with James Cook, but I'm just saying, like, Dalvin
yeah, but
Cook
you know
is,
James Cook is one of my keepers in our leagues.
Yeah, I know,
In
it's
both,
bad.
no, in both my leagues, I'm keeping James Cook as like a RB3.
No, I don't think there's any rumors of Dalvin Cook going to the Bills, but I just think that would be
I'm down a keeper.
sick if that did
Can't
happen.
keep James if he has his
for
brother.
sure. So they released him, and I guess it's Mattinson time to go. I think, anyways, we'll see, or unless they get somebody else. Thing about RBs, man, it's like a carousel until you finally find the right one. Then you ride him for a couple years, then let them go and rinse.
And you get Todd Gurley. then-
Repeat. Yeah, exactly. So
I loved Todd Gurley, by the way.
Yeah, I think everybody. I mean, Todd Gurley was such a fantasy stud for a while there in St. Louis. So
Bad knees.
yeah, and then you get. That's what I'm saying. Bad knees, and then but Dalvin Cook's had some field incidences.
Is he? I don't remember.
A little bit. Just a little bit. AMD down $1 right now. Amazon down 17 cents. Come on, Amazon. Let's get down a little more than that. Come on. Down into 124 flat right now. We're short at 84. So this is making a little bit of money back right now. This is 50 period 23. So I want to put some order there. See if we get a fill down low on Amazon. And of course, Apple's been the apple of my eye today, going long right there on this name. So that's been a good trade so far here today on that. Tesla, you didn't get stopped out of Tesla. You got stopped out of Carvana,
It was
right?
Tesla.
Well, it was Tesla. Okay, so Tesla did take 230. It only went as high as 230.70. And just to show everybody, no, it's not this chart. I have to do it on my other chart. Tesla, I thought, broke 230 before, and what did you get up to 231 or so? Here is the 20-minute chart on Tesla from the other day. It got up to 230.80. So
Yeah, that's about right.
it basically went to exactly where it was yesterday and then faded out all day. That was right there off the open. So if you're short 230, I'd say give it to 231. Even if you're going short right now, plan out to give it. Again, it's just your own plan. I mean, everybody's trading it differently. You saw Neil get out right away. That's probably a good trade. But 231 right there is really what you want to be looking at. So I would say look at that and then take your shares accordingly. Like if you're going to take a bigger position against 230, then you want to get out when it breaks. But if you do have an opportunity to sit in the trade, that was the high take there, and then now you're being a little bit rewarded with that. Okay, here comes Amazon right back down again. So good thing we took that short at 125, but you guys already saw that took our lunch a little bit earlier on that trade. But here it comes. We're sitting at 30s. We just talked about that. Hopefully that fill will come. Ford, what's up to Momo? I know you keep on looking for trades on this, but I would just say this seems to be happening all the time on Ford off the open, where it has big time movement in one direction anyways. Like look at this. Yesterday on Ford, big trade early. It continued. Here's the big trade early on Ford again. Today not really continuing. And look what you see here, Momo. You see an exhaustion candle to the high side of 1375. So generally that's going to be an indicator that you want to get out, or at least get out of something when you see that, because they ran out of shares to buy, ticked it high, then cranked lower on Ford. But we talked about this live on the show. I actually got to fill as soon as the market opened up down here at 1155 one day, down into here, even lower than this. So you know, we're long Ford for the ride. It's not a swing trade, but maybe we should, like Neil said, sometimes you get out when you get instant profit. I'm not going to do that with Ford. I still think it's a long-term play. Believe in that Jim Farley, new CEO, not new, but a couple years old now, on Palantir. No, Alex Karp on Ford there, Mr. Farley. There goes Palantir trying to take out the top as well. In what was a pretty sad day for shareholders yesterday in Palantir because of the move that it had. And then it did this, and we tried to chase some of the longs and it just didn't work. And then eventually now, trying to go back up to the upside, looking for some resistance. I'd say 16. There's a whole ton of it right here. So watch out for that at 16. And then Amazon goes virtually right down into my trade. We're bidding 32s. It goes to 39s before retracing all the way back up. So thanks, Amazon, for that. But yeah, all right, Apple's still moving, and it's Sector Watch with Brendo.
Hey guys, almost the exact opposite we're seeing today for the S&P 500 than what we saw late in the day yesterday. If you remember, basically a green board outside of a few specific areas, but the market overall red. Today, the opposite here. We are green on the session, 0.19 for the S&P, but a lot of red on this board, including material stocks, real estate stocks, and energy leading as far as decliners are concerned. Some strength coming back into Warner Brothers, as we said, back to about 6% there. 3 days in a row to the upside on that ad-supported tier note that came through earlier in the week. Paramount down, Netflix 1.3 to the upside. Delta, the only one here as far as, or there's UAL as well, but Delta was at one point the only one in positive territory as far as airlines are concerned. Still keeping an eye out on some airport closures and groundings that are happening throughout the Northeast throughout the morning this morning because of the smoke coming down from Canada. Adobe, meanwhile, FTNT, CDNS, Oracle, to name a few in the software area of the tech group, still showing all kinds of strength. There's Amazon up there having a nice day as well, as we saw, 2.7. So some of the tech names, specifically the bigger ones, adding a little bit support, offsetting, as I mentioned, guys, a pretty red board here. Banks back to the downside as well after 2 days in a row to the upside. Back over to you.
Overall market's up, though. I mean, overall the market's upside. We took that 770 out on MBIS. It's a good thing we ran the register there. I'm not calling it a Huadun because that's not really
a word.
It's not a big enough of a fall. It's a word now. You can
you
can look it up on Urban Dictionary.
Look it up on Urban Dictionary. Someone put it up on Urban Dictionary.
I don't know who did that, but somebody put it up on there. It may or may not have been me. So yeah, pull back off 770,
Official
holding
word.
a higher low at 750 here. I don't necessarily want to add to the position just yet. It could always bounce off VWAP before it makes another move. Of course, Carvana. I mean, obviously, Carvana, after I get in off the $20 break, it then rolls over back into VWAPs a little bit early on the Carvana 20 short. But guess what is now in pocket? Tesla.
Oh, yes.
So
I saw
I wasn't actually short off 230. I was short at 229, which is obviously not 230 to me, holding it all the way from 29 into yesterday's high. Not the way I would roll, but it's getting a little parabolic into that level. That's why tight stop there, because the bigger area is we're mentioning here to the high yesterday. So it's now in that over-under range where the high of the day, I want to say you said it was 80s. I thought it was like 79. It doesn't really matter. So 230.80 is the high. Probably puts a 231.
That was yesterday's high.
Yes, sorry, yesterday's high. Yesterday's high. Yeah, I want to make sure I get that one right. It's getting into that pocket. A firm could take out the top here, 17.10. I still have that 90 short. But Tesla is of concern. And Micron, which is having a really bad day, is trying to catch a bid off 64. 64 was a huge level back in the day. So I just want to, I'm going to get to that one in a second. But Tesla, I want to grab this short right now.
All right. So by the way, Apple, like pretty easy move to the upside right now. It's been like this has never gone against me. So like, sometimes we get them right and sometimes we get them wrong. But this one's been right for us here on Apple. There we go. We'll take a 76 and now just wait for the rest because this has been the high on Apple. So we are 50 cents. 45 cents, sorry, in the money there on Apple as we take a piece out of that one. And then here we go, man. Let's go with this trade now. I don't know if this is going to work. We just took a piece out at 90 right there on Amazon. Just came back in. We almost got taken out again on a 125 break. So, it fell down there off 125, so that the fact that it came back and ripped back up to this level again, to me, is worth a short one more time. I just can't believe that. I mean, I can believe it. I mean, like we say, like tomorrow when I'm golfing, or no, not tomorrow, Saturday, ball don't lie. Yeah, it's not going to lie. It's probably not going to lie. It's in the trunk. It's probably not going to lie in the fairway. It might lie in the rough, my ball. But hopefully it comes back into the downside here on Amazon. But if it takes that 125.10, which is the high of the day, then we're going to be gone on that one right now for Amazon. Hopefully retraces back down. But we just got some out at 90. This has been the wrong trade. I'm not sure why I'm obsessed with just sitting here shorting Amazon today. But it's just at another key level, 125. And even if you look back here, there's really nothing here. I mean, the real short is this high, which is 127.50. So, yuck. We just taken this shot again because it retraced 50 cents. I mean, this is a shot right now, 15 cents worth of risk the risk is not going to pay off because it just got hit there. But that's the risk that I'm willing to take every time. 15 to 20 cents for a much bigger move on Amazon. It's just that we're the wrong way. So, Amazon taking the lunge today. AMD's been fine. We made it back on that short as well, but we should just be looking for longs because, like I said, the one long that we've had today, we've only traded 3 names, and they all start with A. And this has been the only one that's been such a smooth trade that we've had nothing to worry about with Apple. So, one in. lot of outs, and at the high of the day for Apple as the market is running now again. So it definitely held that 14,400. I think we can see that about as clear as day. So yeah, man, longs all day here. We should have just been long 124 when it broke the first time on Amazon.
Yes, sir. I'm going to get to Micron in a second. Obviously, Tesla at that 230, yesterday's high, 230, 80s we mentioned here. There's the 15, a little easier to see on the 15-minute chart. So I have one in. I'm not going to add to this unless it shows me some signs of weakness. Going to stop at the high of the day. While that was happening, Affirm broke that high of the day. Good early, reloaded, broke the top, got in right in front of the 17, and then it broke that high of the day. I don't want to chase this one to the long side after what it did yesterday, so it's probably not going to happen. MVIS is slowing back down. It did a wick top, but if it can consolidate, higher lows, that's a good working trend. So Huadu bottom, higher low. We grabbed the first entry that I could find above VWAP there. And now we want to see it continue past that $8 level. I'm not adding to it just yet, but that'll probably come pretty quick. And I'm still in Rivian. It just did this while I was trading Tesla, and it just got up to that 14, but I was sort of looking at Tesla at that moment. No need to add back into Rivian off the high when I already have Tesla here. Doesn't make a ton of sense. So Tesla, if it gets underneath 230, that's when I start looking to get some out in front of 229. VWAP retrace is always ideal here. I don't really think for more than that because the market is looking strong after yesterday.
Google trying to break as well. Yeah, follow me on Instagram and on Twitter if you want to see some, after market action, posting just random things there. Of course, yesterday, did I tweet it out or not? The High Park Jets once again taking another W, 6-1-1 right now. Here's my daughter. Look at her. Like there she is, like just pure speed, running home right there. Watch that. Like I'm third base coach. She's looking to see if the guy caught the fly ball. He did not. And there's the move in. Boom. There it is. We got the grass. We've got. This is what High Park's all about, man. The fence is in the background there. The flag's blowing. And thank God that's not me, but that's the other coach right there. Nice run in for her. 6-1-1 right now. Yeah, you can see the haze there in the background. We're very lucky to be playing. There's the umpire. What's up, umpire? There, Chris was his name. But shout out to High Park as that's a lot of fun there. And just really, really, look at that. Really, really proud of everything that we're doing with girls baseball and everything like that. This is a High Park Little League, so you could be male or female. And of course, my daughter Gia is the only girl on her team, but there are, I think, 19 or 20 registered girls in High Park minor Little League baseball right now. And I'm trying to put together sort of a select team to travel with these girls because we had a lot of fun last year doing that. So, okay, that's what that is there. And yeah, just amazing. And it's just her second year playing, so I feel like she's going to be blowing that up as well. But hopefully not too much because hockey is mucho grande expensivo, and both my kids are playing at a rep or select level of hockey, and that is expensive for those of you that know about that. Okay, so 380, 380, 380, 380. Right, so that's been the high there for Amazon, for NVIDIA today. Sorry about that wick. I mean, I could try to edit that out, but it's above VWAP, so I'd say watch out for a 384 take if this market keeps on rallying like this. But we talked about where the market could stop, 14.5. We didn't quite get there at all. We got to 14.450 and a little bit of a pullback with the NASDAQ. Wow, what a great day. It was down yesterday, right back up today as a lot of these names continue to go to the high side.
Yes, sir. And I promised I would get to Micron in a quick second, so here's the rundown on Micron. It's pulling all the way back to that previous monstrous level at 64 on the daily chart. The 50 periods underneath here at 63.5 as well. But this is what's happened at 64. Like a couple of tests. It's actually giving a 50-cent scalp range as well. So I am looking for a scalp inside of the range and then see if I can hold it into VWAP. I am now into Micron. I saw that one moving. I was like, why the heck is Micron so weak? So I was able to take advantage of that one. Well, we'll see. You were able to take advantage if you've already been doing it. I'm now in it now. So I got to reload. Another wick high on Tesla. But if I'm going to add to it without taking any out, then I'm going to start playing the scalp trade game. So getting some fills above. The high of the day now sits at 64. That wick is a bit fortuitous. Dark pool wick out of nowhere that goes right to 230.70 and then ends up being the high of the day. Complete coincidence, probably. So inside of this pocket, I'm looking for 229.5 as the next out, and then let's see how far it can go. Tesla trending to the upside. The market is breaking back up. If you go to the NASDAQ here, I don't think there's a heck of a lot till you get to 14.5. If we get to 14.5 and something really sets up well for the short side, I would take a look at something like that. But you have a ways to go on the futures, at least 40 to 50 points before we get to major resistance. So if a stock isn't that big resistance, I don't know that you want to rush into anything. MVIS still do like the long here. I don't know what's going on at 750. There's no size on the bid, but there is an obvious buyer at that 750 level. I'm just going to hang on to my long from VWAP here and look for reload down at that price.
And Palantir is breaking the high of the day and looking to be pretty good as well. We've added to our AMD short, though. As Neil was just talking a little bit about Micron there, we add to our AMD short, which is just right here, right now. We just put it on at 6s. So let's wait to see what happens here with AMD. Maybe going back down. Okay, here it is. That's a nice move. All right, well, we'll take something out at 92. Okay, well, maybe now we'll take something out at 82 if we can get that. We just put this on. So hopefully this can make a move to the downside again, breaking lower. We should have just retraded that at 121. We see that high there. It came up to 120.50. I still like the short in AMD today. Although NVIDIA's been moving upside, as long as we don't break that 121, I just feel that AMD, again, here's the 5. Just so you don't think that, I don't, try not to trade like a loose cannon, right? Like trying to make sure that we have the right positions at the right time. Like, we're not even down. Like, for example, like that Amazon short, we lost on that last one because it wound up taking that 125. But like, we're down cups of coffee on these stocks here today because the short didn't work. But I believed in it. We sat in it. It was fine. Like, this is the 200 period, right? It holds it right there. It holds it right there again. And now we're looking at that for AMD. AMD, the trend, like people say, follow the trend. Like, what is the trend on AMD? Like, for me, sure, we had some high moves the other day. Yesterday was a disaster. We make it back. We climb back. Maybe you wait for 122, or you try to play it off this. And did it break 121? Yes, it did. And we had to get out when that did happen. But I still don't feel like it was a horrible idea to get the short there in AMD. So, we're back into that play off of that 121. We have some good levels there. This is what AMD looks like. Obviously, that 125 would be the best short, but we're way away from that. So we can't talk about things that aren't going to happen today because then that's pointless. If we do get a run up through to 125, great. But what else is going to work if that happens, right? Still 40 cents in the money on Apple. We're getting ready to end the closing show. Then it will be, I think it's, hopefully, I don't know where Yannick is, but hopefully he can come on today. I don't know. I'm out of here. I'm not going to be here today or the afternoon or tomorrow. So good trading for all of that as we finally take a break. All right. It's Money Talk now with Brendo over there at the big desk. A little late, but better late than never.
Pretty positive across the board as far as currencies go, all because dollar downside, big way. More than 0.5% right now, to the tune of about 0.64 for the DXY here in negative territory. You can see on the daily chart, huge ugly red candle forming. That has everything pretty much on this board back in positive territory. If you missed it this morning, the jobless claims numbers, the highest since 2021 on a week-over-week basis. So finally seeing some movement in the right direction, or in the direction that the Fed wants to see going into next week's Fed decision. So everything to the upside, including the euro, the Canadian dollar just back to positive now. It was weak early on. The British pound, 125.3, back to the upside as well. Swiss franc having quite the day here, 1.1%, 111 there for the Swiss franc. A lot of positivity though, guys, with dollar weakness coming back into play. Frank Caberna coming through later this afternoon. We'll talk some currencies. We'll talk some Fed. We'll get you set for CPI and the Fed decision next week.
Frank, and just to be frank with you here,
he has to say.
I love that line.
Yeah, we're never giving him up, and we just got to be frank with that guy.
Okay, so remember when I was telling you somebody put like 80,000 shares on the offer of Tesla?
Yeah, sorry about that.
And they got the fill on the offer, and that was, $1 ago. Well, someone just put 90,000 shares on the bid, and then just got gobbled up.
Yeah, I covered.
Yeah, but that's like selling here, and somebody sold here. And, well, if it's the same order, they would have sold here and bought here. So I don't think it's the same order. Otherwise, they just nice and clean took a dollar loss. But I don't think that's what happened. It got the reload, was able to get some out at 30s or 230s, and then 229.50. Not really a follow through yet on Tesla, but I don't think you want to look a gift horse in the mouth. if you are going against the grain. So a little bit early, taking the 29 short, kind of coaxed into it by the price action. Could have been scalping it, should have. Shoulda, woulda, coulda is what it is. But now it's going to make a run at that high of the day. I only want to reload for one reason. Well, two reasons. One, it shows a fail off the high, or the market somehow already gets to 14.5, and this hasn't broken. I feel like it's going to make a shot at the high of the day before that happens. I just want to stop it out there and then take another shot. No need to go for a third time off the same level. Take your money and run. I think if you go a third time, you're just giving some money back. I still have Rivian for me. And yes, CVNA bounces clean off 19 in VWAP and making another run at 20. It is yet to hold volume above the $20 level. To me, that's the only way I want to play along above that number would be volume above and then continue the break because this is still a monster level on the daily chart. There's room to go past it, but it's a squeeze play. If there aren't buyers above 20, then I'm not joining.
Jeg kom akkurat nå, jeg. Så jeg har ikke logget på.
Okay, so,
jeg tok jo gevinst på den Dachsen, men så fikk jeg Dow Jones I trynet. Så jeg så logget meg på nå.
Easier of a trade for me today than Apple because we didn't actually have to fight about it. We didn't even have to talk about it. It just kept going to the upside, and we did take a lot out here at the day's high, right? Again, in what I thought would be a trending market today, seems to be the other way. We were very confused at the open. We had two bears sitting there, and we even had a poll up. Where is this market going to go? And what is the poll at right now? I can't see it on mine.
It is. Here we go.
Well, now people have green, but
so
I wonder what it was earlier.
Yeah, I didn't see it earlier, but it's 52% green, 32% red, 17% flat. Which, quite frankly, that tells you something about what it was.
And I think that's people are cheating, as they always do. And it's not cheating, but you could vote on a poll when the market's up 1%. You may choose
green. It's easy to say now.
But yeah, there goes Apple anyways. A huge move to the upside right there. It took out 179. So we went long at 140.
Ja, jeg skjønner det. Jeg kjørt Prosecco.
And then just started covering them at
jeg fikk noe rett I trynet.
50 cents, and there's your 60-cent winner right there at 179 flat to get that out. And by the way, AMD also.
Det var en litt dum fra meg.
Short there, out 80s. That's 26 more cents in our pocket for AMD. Still waiting for the short off 121. So the day's not over yet. That is for sure. I voted red. I'm going to tell you what I voted. So I voted red, but I voted as soon as that poll went up because I was on shorting AMD. I did think that we did have a red day.
Oh, I did too. That
coming through.
It was in the pre-market that we made that poll.
And I don't think it's over yet.
Just quickly, we're going to go to the earnings board. I'm going to be joining Shree for the midday, so I'm going to get up, make the switch over. But I think we're going to go to some earnings for Brennan, but I'm going to make my move. I'll see you in a couple minutes.
Yeah, sure. Let's see what earnings we got on there.
Get the, no, yeah, maybe.
Ooh, okay. All right, I won't be here, but DocuSign and Neo, hello. DocuSign definitely going to give you some reasons to go upside. And guess what DocuSign is going to talk all about? Oh, did you say die? Yeah, probably. So there we go, DocuSign. To watch out for. And then, of course, NIO. I mean, trade that, hold that into earnings at your peril. I feel like I just don't have an idea of where NIO is going to go. And I don't think that trading off of earnings is a great play to hold something into earnings because very hard to tell where you're going to go, especially on Chinese EVs. We had delivery numbers come through with those guys, and it just goes back and forth with AMD. But look at DocuSign. I mean, you want to talk about a name that's really worked over the last little while. 48 bottom, up to $60 right now. And right into it, if we can go to the chart there, Alfredo, that'd be great. Right now, when you get a second, of course. There it is, yeah, $60 as the top. Thanks, Alfredo, for that one. As the top for DocuSign. So this is going to be in trouble if it misses. You could get all the way back down. It just kind of reminds me of GameStop almost exactly where we whooshed down. I mean, this chart looks exactly the way GameStop did before, where you made the bottom, hit that high, ran into a little bit of resistance there at 25 on GameStop, then fell back in. So let's watch out for DocuSign. They're coming through tomorrow. All right, nice move up. I'm almost, like I said, I'm almost out of here. So we're going to try, we'll try a 17 short. That was not a 17 short. Let's try a 17 short on AMD here. There it is. So we just actually got 18s. Back into the short, 120.50 up to 121. We have a much bigger trade somewhere up here into the 80s for AMD. This is one that I'm going to take against 121. So last trade coming for me. Want to thank everybody again today. we know you're going to be in good hands, man. Tomorrow's going to be a great day to trade. I believe Max will be on the show all day in my spot tomorrow, so that should be exciting for all of you. Max killing Tesla today, also with Carvana, so lots of stuff happening to come through. So I want to give a big thanks to everybody in the chat. Shout out to Elon, Bears vs. Bulls. What's up to Hamster? Hey, I miss you already. As well. So shout out to everybody there. I don't like taking time off, but my brother-in-law is coming in, so spending that family time. Haven't seen that guy in a while. Wants to go to a Jays game, so we're going to do that. Plus, he's been trash-talking me in golf, so I'm going to deal with him tomorrow on the course, or Saturday on the course. Also going with my brother, so I'll try to post a picture up of that as well. And Canadian Open in Oakville, Ontario. So may stop by there, see what's going on. Been invited to go to that as well, but if I have time, you may see me there. So, yeah, it's going to be a good one, man. If you're at the Jays game, ding me up. Maybe we can meet up tomorrow. Should be a
Det
fun one,
falt,
but
men
without
det
any
tok
further
imot.
ado,
Aner ikke.
it's Sharif
De på TV-en skjønner heller ikke,
on
så da skjønner ikke jeg det heller.
Have a great weekend.
Men det kan falle etterpå, men det ser ganske bullish ut nå, altså.
Welcome to the Midday Show. I'm Sharif. Neil is just setting up at the moment, and we are brought to you by Search Trader. Account funding of up to $1 million, keep up to 90% of the profits. Enjoy a relaxed trading rules with 8% max trailing drawdown on all new accounts. So check them out, searchtrader.com. Use the code TTV, I believe, for 10% off. What a morning it has been on these markets. I guess let's look at the futures because they kind of, set everything into perspective. So we're looking at the NQ June contract here. And it has been, what's wrong with these charts? It's been an absolute monster this morning. We blew through 14.4 like it was absolutely, we retraced at it for like a few minutes, but we, ended up blowing through it. 14.5 is what I'm looking at next on my chart. Concurrently, I'm also looking at 4,300 on the ES. That's going to be the level that I look for to kind of both the targets to kind of simultaneously hit. We'll see. But 14.5 is just because it is the 500 level, but the better, I think, technical
Jeg vet ikke helst ikke om det så jævla smart, ass.
550. There's more action in and around there, especially going back June 5th, 6th,
Det helt,
and 7th.
det helt annet sentiment nå enn i dag tidlig. Når jeg satt der i stad, så var det blytungt. Nå det ikke så jævla tungt.
But, with an eye at 500, obviously, for resistance. Again, what we've been doing lately is we're watching how it trades at that level. Now, let's get to the trade I had on. I had an Amazon long. I took a buck. It was the only trade I had. I'm happy with it, but I'm also disappointed. We'll get to why in a second. I'm happy with it because I took it in the direction of the trend, and I took it on a technical level where I had an identifiable out, which was 50 pennies, right? So it didn't even go 10 pennies south from my entry. We would take
Jeg kjøpte Nasdaq, ta gevinst nå.
125. Now,
Ute.
The only thing that I'm really upset about is I didn't add to my winner. You guys heard on the midday show me asking Yannick, I'm like, what's your position on adding to your winners and letting them ride? And, he gave a very, I think, mature and reasoned answer. But the one that I was looking for was more along the lines of I want to hunt out that trade that I can sit in all day.
Jeg er short fra stad, så jeg sitter med den i trynet nå, liksom. Men jeg tør ikke shortene mer, for da blir jeg for eksponert.
Is one of those. It is up 3 1/3 on news. We're talking real revenue here. It's proven. Netflix has grown their base through this ad tier. I know that the Amazon catalog is not as extensive as Netflix, but it does stand to reason that there will be an increase in revenue. Therefore, we're looking at new fundamentals, and I think that the buying programs will be on, and it is continuing to ride. Where are the technicals though on Amazon? Let's go to the longer term time frame. Let's bring in the Amazon chart. Where are we here? So clearly there was a gap from the move down yesterday. Tech took a beating. Amazon was in and around that 126.5, 127 area right before the market opened, and we huaduned all the way down to 121.25. So there is a gap to fill, and it's almost like a smiley face recovery. And on a shorter time frame, maybe even on a longer time frame, maybe even a V-shaped recovery. So 127, 126.5, clearly the level here of resistance that we have to look at for Amazon. I've got my alert set at 125 and 3/4. That was the alert that I wanted to look at for possible. It's all good. For shorts.
Reminds me.
You good now?
I am, but that just reminded me that I did not adjust my. I am not quite finished setting up. I actually thought I was finished setting up, and what the heck? A bunch of stuff just moved around. Okay, I'm not quite finished setting up, but I can show you two things. No, just give me a second because I actually want to talk about Tesla here. Tesla ran the top. You can see I did have I was in it, held onto a piece for the home run, was able to scout most of it out. Then I went for the 231 short. It then just broke out.
Hva mener du med 500?
That's in, that's out pretty quickly. It's continuing to churn. So want to have those outs, tight stops above.
Å ja, 500 giring.
When it got just above that 230, now it's absolutely off to the races. While that was happening, Micron, which when we did the switch over, at least I did the switch over. You guys all stayed here. Micron, as I adjust that over as well. That bounced off that 64 and into VWAP, now breaking above VWAP. So that one definitely powering up. Why 64? A, because we have the best community in the world who was yelling about the fact that Micron was down. B, because 64 is in the other way, this was an absolute monster level for a year on Micron. Then it broke away. It broke away, started to go, couldn't take 70, held 64, went to $75. Now you get the Huadong down to 64. You have the 50 period underneath. It's a lot of reasons. Once it showed strength, and this is the best entry here. So the 64.08 bottom, it wicks underneath and holds 64. Whether you're long, this is kind of like if I do it like a minute later, you get the long over here and it looks better because it's on the green. But it's the same thing. Wicks down, goes above. Now it's above VWAP.
Let's go, baby.
I don't think it gets past 66 today, but that's usually because I'm pessimistic about a trending stock to the downside. But yeah, Micron off the bottom. That said, Tesla still going to the upside. And still running. Cannot stop, will not stop, won't stop.
Have you seen W today?
What, Wayfair, you got just what
is moving, Neil, 9 points. And it's been a rock. Look at that.
Is there like something happened here, or?
So Carvana, Wayfair, street price, Target. Okay. Oh, I think they adjusted their earnings outlook, and they got price target upgrades as a result.
That'll do it. Break it out.
There you go.
That'll do it. Wow. And if you just looked at yesterday's levels on Wayfair, which this is all hindsight, is 2020. It tends to be. And if it's not 2020, then you should check your vision because you should have perfect trades if you can trade with hindsight. Yeah, it broke the previous range. Like yesterday's top 51 break, and it's still going up. There is not a red candle on my 15-minute chart on Wayfair. That is absolutely insane. And Yannick, actually, so Yannick in the chat. It's not you, Yannick. It's not you. There's another Yannick in the chat.
That's another Yannick. Uh-oh.
So the first thing I happened, Yannick's like, thanks for them, you trade. I turn around, I'm like, did you trade it, Yannick? Yannick in the back, he will be on today. I think you're coming on today, right? Yeah. Yannick's going to be coming on today.
Look at Amazon,
but there's a Yannick in the chat as well. I was alerted to Micron by people yelling about how far it was to the downside. So that's the only reason I even saw that silly thing. What happened to Tesla? Somebody said, what happened to Tesla? I don't know. It's a
rocket.
It's a rocket ship.
Well,
I've had three shorts on it, and I'm 1 for 3. Obviously, long would be the way to go at this point. Now it's just absolutely insane. Market screaming to the top side. I got to watch out for my Rivian, though.
Unreal.
Rivian now wants to take out the high. This is the short. I liked yesterday. I liked the short.
Beautiful.
It is looking like it wants to break out the top here on Rivian. So all good things have to come to an end. It looks like Rivian trying to take out the top as well. My last short is Rivian.
Oh, I like this. Yannick Yellen. Instead of Janet
that's
Yellen.
Good. No, I like that.
Yannick Yellen.
Yeah.
No.
Yannick Yellen.
No.
Why not? I like it.
I don't know. I don't know. Anyway.
It means Yannick can do all.
Man, we are rocketing up here. I'm specifically talking about Amazon, but everything else is moving up. I've got 125.77 alert for, basically to alert me into that 126 level, and I'm looking for a possible short there. Now, call me crazy. Obviously, I'm not going to be punching short,
Aren't you, though?
just by sitting there like with a resting order. We're gonna have to get to that level, trade at it. I'm gonna have to watch it. If it V-shape recovers down, I miss it. But what I'm gonna be watching for is a key level of what I would say to you is gonna be resistance in and around here. This is the 30-minute on Amazon. Look at this resistance level from yesterday. So we get back up here. I want to see how we trade. Do we have the lungs to break through 127 and head north?
The lungs.
The lungs, the capacity, the whatever.
What's the term? Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
I was gonna think, what's that term for your lung capacity again? It's
VO2 max.
VO2 max.
Yeah.
There you go. See, if that got thrown in right away,
Neil,
it would have been much more effective.
I have to get to some super chats we missed. Sorry.
By all means.
I feel like it's like housekeeping. I got to do it, right?
It is.
Weaver
You should
Welder,
be
$10 super chat. Thank you very much for that. Could you please explain Day Trade the World's training program and how to get started? Is there anything different for U.S. citizens? Sadly, yeah, we don't actually work in the United States. It's literally, I believe, almost every other country. So yeah, that doesn't work out. We don't actually have any offices there. For other countries, we do. Canada, all over Europe, etc. So sorry about that, Weaver Welder. Another super chat here, Neil, coming in from Nick W, $5. Thank you, Nick. Airbnb, nice gap here to fill for 50 cents. Possible upside to 118 today. Let's have a look at Airbnb. That was downgraded today because I do the upgrades and the downgrades. Well, it wasn't downgraded. It caught a price target reduction. I'll look to see who actually did it, but let's go into the 5-minute here. So we gapped down. We were way over 1%. We're technically now down 1% on the day. Let me put in the ticker here, AB. And is that New York, Neil, or a NASDAQ?
Airbnb?
Yeah.
Airbnb is a NASDAQ stock.
NASDAQ, okay. Just wanted to get it right. There we
You have the
go.
daily up? You got it.
There I'll put the daily up in 1 second. But here we are. We're at basically the highs of the morning, 115.50. Do we break up above here? Yesterday's close, the level I'll be looking to as my important level is that 116.50. That's where we closed yesterday, and there's a lot of action in and around that level. That's the 5-minute on Airbnb. Here's the daily, Neil.
So, it's interesting because go back to daily for a second.
This is the daily.
Yeah, there we go. I just want to stay on there. It's been kind of stepping down. So you have it's a conflict of two things. Like you're trying to hold the major moving averages, which have been converging, and you're trying to break out above those.
Yeah,
right. So
very true.
it looks pretty solid for hold these right now, break 120, and that's pretty darn bullish. The other side of that trade is but it's got lower highs. Lower lows, and then it tried to put in a higher high there like that, and it's kind of failing that. So a consolidation break on a very short-term trade at 120 looks really good, but it hasn't really broken that recent downtrend, I suppose.
They've been having issues with respect to inventory. So it's a funny thing. Go ahead.
No, you were saying this before.
Yeah.
That's all I was going to say. You were saying this before.
So the issue is they've got so much demand, like in large metropolitan areas like New York, Los Angeles, and a lot of these areas are now banning Airbnbs. I know my sister in the city she lives in Orange County, they've banned it outright. Like there are people running it, but they're not supposed to be. Anyway, the fact of the matter is there's an inventory issue. They have more demand than supply. And so as a result, their stock is suffering. So goes the story, or at least the Coles Notes version of it. You guys don't know what Coles Notes is. You guys know what Spark Notes is, because Coles Notes is a Canadian.
That's
what do they call it? Sparks Notes or something like that?
I don't
in the
know
States?
because
fact check me.
First of all, just actually read the book. See, when I was in school, way back in the olden days, I would always I'm reading all the texts. I'm making sure I don't use the Coles Notes. I'm studying really hard. I'm absolutely unequivocally never sitting next to a dude in French immersion who spoke French since he was like 5 years old, and then looking, whatever. That never happened. You don't do stuff like that. You got to make sure you stay away from the Coles Notes. It's all
Cliff Notes, Spark Notes, Sparks Notes, or whatever. There's that. And then someone, very on the nose said to me, "We use AI now, bro." Right? So
I'm sure. Of course you are.
Yeah, forget about that. We go straight to the AI. The AI tells us everything.
That being said, I'm telling you, some of the article summary, you can get these fantastic summaries of papers through ChatGPT does it, but there's actually even There's a Google, like a Chrome plugin that is specifically like it's built into Chrome and you can use it. It's an AI plugin that allows you to summarize a web page you're reading or like a paper or something like that. Because who wants to read the whole paper? Well, you should. If you're in school, just ignore the tongue-in-cheek and do your work. I want to get to MVIS for a quick second, just because it's starting to slow down. Volume is obviously not as big as it was before. Oh, you can't see the volume. There you go. Volume tapering off here. So the bounce is off VWAP. I did miss that last one there. And I would like to take it, if I missed it first time, or second time I should say. I'd like to get back in or add back into this around 740. I just need to see it come back, bounce off the level, show me a little consolidation, then we'll jump back into that trade. Micron is giving a consolidation above VWAP. That's pretty bullish. So holding VWAP, holding 65. If it can break back out here, I think we can see 66. I'm not at the point that I think you add yet. In front of that 65 level, but I wouldn't rule it out. The one short, I don't really still like anything except for Rivian, because Rivian was the first thing I was in. It's the last thing I'm holding on to as a short trade. It's not necessarily going to set up as a home run the way the market's trading, but if it gets back under VWAP, at least it can curl back to that 1365. So same thing going on here for me in Rivian. And what about BABA, Renata says? What about Alibaba? Did it break 87 yet? No, it did not break 87 yet. So this is yesterday's high. I only know I was looking at it yesterday, or looking at it this morning. So I know 87 is a big deal. So BABA absolutely churning. Congratulations! Look at the breakout at 85.
Do we take the short here, Neil?
The short on BABA?
No, the short. The market's turning.
On the market?
Yeah. I don't want to stand
specifically on BABA. If you go back 2 days, 87.7 is the high of the day. So it probably could break 87 and then be a short, like back underneath. We do the over-under game. But the market is getting close to 14.5 on the NASDAQ, not quite there. I like Rivian short here. I can be convinced for Alibaba off 87. And even Tesla, like that's starting to slow down. I think if Tesla starts to curl, that would get spicy. I was maybe too front end. Like, look what Tesla just did. Oh yeah, Tesla. Tesla might be the one.
Go for it, yeah.
Hit it. Hit it. There you go.
It's the Madman. Put the Madman on there. Put
like
the Madman on.
I like it. It's like it's right
They're not
there.
putting the
You can
Madman.
still see everything on the screen. I think it's almost perfect. Oh, forget that. Check that. I think it is
Neil,
perfect.
I don't want to stand in front of a freight train, and I feel that this long on the market is a freight train, so I ain't taking the short here. You're really going to have to convince me that we've rejected, and that means I'm going to miss part of the move, and that's fine with me.
In fairness, I just said I should be shorting Tesla, and it dropped $1.
I know.
That was fast. Anyway, life comes at you fast, and sometimes like what'll happen is I'll pull it over. I wasn't watching Tesla. I was kind of looking in Rivian in the moment, and by the time I got over to Tesla, it was already making the curl of what looked interesting. So I'm not chasing a move to the downside. But if we move that far down in Tesla and can't get to VWAP on Rivian, I'm going to scalp some out there. Just have to respect it. MVIS is starting to come in here. Marvell is setting up MRVL. Ooh, that could be breaking back out. See? But the market's coming down, and this wants to break up now. That's just weird. And sometimes if it doesn't make sense, sit it out. Because if Marvell's going to go, then why not let it hold yesterday's bottom, consolidate a bit, either take the long off 59 or let it break 60. Because like you're not catching this bottom. I don't think that was close enough to the low to get it. Like Micron was literally a gift. Like how many times does the stock go down that far? Bounce off, whoops, wrong direction. Bounce off literally the most obvious level you could find, like that 64 level in front of the 50 period, and give you a little consolidation down there as well. Like that's, that's a little more obvious than in Marvell. I think you got to snip that one out.
Hva tror vi her i Prosecco?
Marvell. I'll stick with Micron here. Plug is plugging along, says Anthony Kerr.
It's been plugging along the last few days. We talked about it at length yesterday with respect to swing trade and the. Go ahead.
Oh, it's actually going down today. Because I was going to say, this was a short off 10 yesterday.
What do we got? 1.3%? Okay.
Yeah, this was a 9. I shorted 990 on
Still
Plug.
within the range of yesterday-ish.
Yeah, no, but it did break down and held a double bottom here, trending to the downside, plugging along, as they say. The short was off the $10 level, even though it was a 990 short. I still, okay, you know what? No, I'm not going to chase that move. I liked the short off 10 yesterday. It's a continuation of the same range today, but shorting at the bottom when the market's at the high, that doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense to me. Yeah, I'm going to stay away from Plug Power. But if you're already shorted, then it looks pretty good, but you're already in the money on that one. Not much of a... It's not worth chasing, I don't think.
All right, I'm watching what we do at these levels, thinking, okay, 14.5 on the NQ, incoming resistance. We'll see. No decisions made. The other level I'm also watching.
Jeg sitter med litt samme feeling. Jeg synes det litt sånn...
moment is that 4,300 on the ES. We're at 42.87 with a 42.88.5 top. So we're 12 points, bit more away from that 4,300. So I want to see how we trade around here. We're not making any newer highs on any of these big cappers. Let me bring in the ES. There we go. I got to bring that. There we go.
Nothing's making a newer high? You sure?
1 sec. On my big tech, Google just made a newer high.
Something has to be.
Google is. And the ES curling back into 88.5. We're definitely much higher. We're much nearer the highs than the lows. No question about that. And yeah, I haven't actually had NVIDIA on my chart today. I have to actually have that up almost at all times. Now, Neil, I want to include
Netflix
NVIDIA.
apparently is too.
It's been big all day, 406.96. Yeah, I should be. I misstated that. NVIDIA, Netflix are up there on my charts. None of the big six were, except Google. Google is. Look, I'm not standing in front of this freight train. I'm not looking to short here unless I really see a move down. The question to me is going to be 14.5. Does it end up being a level? Where do we find resistance? Is it a level that we find on the NQ or the ES? The ES has that 4,300. We're rejecting off that 4,300 every single time. We've been up there 5 or 6 times, I'd say, in the last 2 weeks. So that's definitely a level I want to be looking at. The other one, though, more closer. Come on, Sharif. Get it.
It's
the other level closer at the moment, 14.5. What's up?
No, I just Uber here.
Okay.
Uber made that push through the 40 level. I don't have it. I mean, it is what it is. I didn't have a stop order set for the breakout long. Even if I had taken the 40 breakout, it's debatable. It's all hindsight. Usually, I'd probably stop it at 80 or 75. So it might have made a run close enough to make me think about stopping out of the breakout, but it's now above that high of the day. If it starts consolidating, which it already is, I should say, it's already consolidating above 40. My daily's not really working, but you don't need the daily chart. This is the range from earlier in the week is what you want to concern yourself with. This is above 40. You got 80 cents worth of chop the last couple of sessions, the last 3 sessions when it's gotten above. So if it holds 40 now, a dip, I think you can go dip buy, give it 20 pennies, and then you've got 80 cents worth of upside, and it's still in the range. So that's with the market trending up, that's a place to join the trend on an already strong stock with some catalyst behind it recently. I know yesterday sucked for everything, so a lot of things are going to look bearish if you focus too much on yesterday's chart. The way I usually see it, and my daily's not working on Uber, so you might have to. Yeah, it's frustrating. But when you have
I'll put it up for you. 1 second.
Yeah, can you put up the? Can you do that? Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you in advance for. I move over, and my dailies. Sometimes they low, sometimes they don't. But yeah, if you look at the upward trend that it's unbroken on Uber. So when you have that little Huadun where it doesn't hold the previous tight consolidation I showed on the 15-minute, I was like, if it spends no time down there, meaning it flushed down there, you're down there for 1 day.
Back to the screen.
Yeah, now come back to my screen. You flush down, you hold beneath it, you open up, and immediately go right back to where you were before. If we close inside of this range, sometimes we're like, yeah, it's almost like that didn't happen. It was like a market-led move. It happened to drag Uber with it, and in effect, you're still holding that consolidation and looking for breakout at the top. So I like the dip buy in Uber. That's more of like a swing perspective there. But yeah, I like the dip buy if we can start to come back in and hold 40 even. On Uber, MVIS I want to dip, but I don't know. I say Uber sometimes.
You ever go out to Montreal? Do you have anybody in Montreal you visit?
Dude, I don't. The last time I was in Montreal, it was on the way back from Halifax visiting my brother. I drove with my parents, and we stopped in Montreal. And we went to Saint Hubert.
Saint Hubert. You gotta say it the French way.
It's not in Ontario anymore.
Yeah,
I love
no,
it.
they
It's like
closed all their shops
their
here.
sauce is better than Swiss chalet. That's why I like them.
Best. Yeah, it's very Canadian. Like I grew up going to it, and then all of a sudden they disappeared. And then you found out they were only in Quebec, so it became like a staple. Anytime you were out there, you were going to visit at Saint Hubert. It's an awesome chicken place. They got that roasted kind of chicken.
You know I like chicken.
Yeah, well, I like you, bro. You said it, not me. Dave Chappelle. Anybody who knows Dave Chappelle knows
just true,
that.
right?
Yeah.
Let's be real for a second.
Yeah. Anybody who knows Chappelle knows that this is the thing, right? Shout out.
Although,
yeah,
and this is true.
Okay.
I actually think watermelon's the most overrated fruit out there.
I don't. I got watermelon in my fridge right now.
Don't get it. It's not
I
that,
love
look,
it.
I'll eat watermelon if it's. I don't understand it. I don't see what's so freaking great about it.
Yeah.
It's plain. It's useless. There's a million. Even like
You gotta get a good one. You know that.
Cantaloupe is better. Honeydew melon
good.
is better. They both taste better. You eat a ripe cantaloupe and tell me that watermelon.
They're fantastic, but
So
each
then what
can
are we
be
talking about?
fantastic independently.
I know what's up.
I
You
know
know
what's up.
cantaloupe tastes better. You know it.
Cantaloupe tastes fantastic.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just, I don't know.
I love watermelon. Okay, that's just my thing. Anyway, let's look at the Amazon trade because it is curling back down when you're not really seeing a curl in some other names. I'm talking about NVIDIA. I'm talking about AMD. Netflix, a bit of a curl. Meta, Amazon, we're seeing some weakness as we come to these levels, these important levels on the NQ. 14.5 technically on the day, 14.4, 9.4 the high. Is this a buy the retracement type moment? Well, I answer back and say, employ my friend Neil's strategy here, get it on the backside. No point guessing if we bottomed out. Wait till it starts curling. If you miss a bit, that's the way it is.
Det er jo helt
That's what I'm looking
sprøtt.
for here. Do we start?
Hvis dere tenker om at det er så mange som har nå begynt å få benefits i USA på de makrotallene som kom i dag, og så klarer faen meg USA å gå opp på drittall. Hvis de tror at de kommer til å bremse rentehevinga, så tar de helt feil. Altså, det er helt merkelig. Altså, det er helt sjukt. Morten? Nå forsvant den der chatten min. Plutselig så måtte jeg logge inn. Hvorfor faen skjedde det da? Ja, nå fikset jeg det. Hvorfor må jeg logge inn? Nettprat logge inn. Hvorfor det? Hva er det? Hvorfor skjer det da? Hva er det der for noe?
Strømstreamen og starte nytt og lukke OS.